Good evening, good morning, or hello, wherever you are in the world. My name is Martin. I'm your host, and welcome back to the Mancunian Way. And we've dragged him out of his pit for this one. He's here. He is still alive, I promise you. Ozzy, how are you doing?
I thought you were talking about Alan.
Oh, no. Alan?
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 No idea. I mean, he's been everywhere, hasn't he, lately? Can't get him off of the channels.
Yeah, good evening, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. I've been working today, so yeah, fun times in this weather. But yeah, apart from that, all good. Looking forward to tonight, and yeah. How about yourself, mate? All good?
Yeah, apart from the heat.
Can't get away from it.
Yeah, it's
far
well in the chat. Hot. Far too hot. Yeah. Hang on. What's this doing here? Hang on. Whoa. My laptop's having a madness. There we go. Right. Awesome. Sorted. Right. I'm all flustered now. What's up with me? I've got all flustered.
In a minute.
I don't know. I'm just coming in like, I don't know why.
Well, you're 15 minutes late, so you know.
No, I got into it last week of doing a stream every single day, and then I've had a day off, and it's absolutely thrown me left.
Oh dear.
Good evening, Harry. How are you? Good evening, Mingy Wong as well. Dash is in the building. Yeah, we're going to talk Doku 100%. See you at 21:30. Yeah, I was a little bit late. I do apologize. I've been early the last 3 streams, so you were owed a late one. Come on now. Big up though, Nick. How are you? Lee Gates, how are you? Mark, good evening, my buddy. Lee Gates, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Appreciate it. Now, it's getting every show, mate. Appreciate it. Really, really do. Watch latest version of Inside City. They all look on it intense, but with a smile on the faces. Do you know what? I haven't watched it, but I have heard they are having a lot of fun over there at the moment. DC, hello, how are you? Make sure you are saying hello to each other, chat rate and all that. Keep that chat rate rolling. It does help your channel. God, I thought that said God thanks, Mark, then. I said DC's a lot of things, but I don't think she's God. The country's minging with this heat. It is a little bit too warm. I have got my fan on. I've got my fan next to me. The Mancunian Way's biggest fan.
Wow. Yeah, please don't do that again, Martin. We're already getting complaints in the chat.
That looks dodger. Yeah, don't forget the watch along is on tomorrow. Do not ask for a thing in the day because you're not getting it. You might get a short, but we'll be live from 1:30 a.m. Yeah. Cheers, City, for doing this. But yeah, no, the watch alongs are going great guns at the minute. It's a lot of fun at the moment. A lot of fun. Hopefully the game won't be delayed for 2 hours yet. I am expecting. I wouldn't expect a 2-hour stream because the weather reports are we may be doing an hour, 3-hour delay, and then back in for the last whatever. We might be doing a Chelsea. Yeah, I don't know. This is crazy. I mean, even Jurgen Klopp's had his say on this scenario now, and so is Rafinha. They're all coming out now having a bitch about it. As always, respect each other in the chat. Hello, DC, Mark, Staffy, Brick, bloody hell, Dash. Just list them off, mate. Staffy, good evening. House Captain, how are you doing, Mel Mucker? I know the TM, the two, I'm gone tonight. Get it? Quick, good night. I've finished. I am done. I am fully done here. The heat's done. The heat's killed me wiring. Heat's done me. I know the two. Fuck off. I'll say you do it.
Oh, Jesus.
Rich, read
Good
that
morning.
out for me. Rich, read that out.
I know the 2 a.m. kickoff ain't the best timing, as some of you go to work, which is understandable. But those who can make it, we will be there no matter what.
Good afternoon, Marshy boy. I've had a nightmare to start. I can't fucking speak tonight. What is going on? I've even got my teeth in. Good evening, Mark. How we all doing? Sweating my bollocks off. There's TMI, Jack. TMI. Let's get James Chaffin and Chris Wood. Well, looks like Newcastle are getting them. Newcastle are getting them either now. I don't know what's freaking going on. Newcastle are trying to buy players in pound tokens at the minute. Blue says just blue. SOS, how are you doing, my old muck? Right, where are we at here? Hello, Martin. Any update on Livramento now? As of now, no incomings. We are the full. Yes. No, I know they did MCFC. Of course they did. If it's delayed till 4 a.m., then I'm losing my head. 48 degrees in Las Vegas is manageable. How is 28 degrees feeling like hell in the UK? Do you know why, Andy? Because I watched some on this the other day. It's the UK build. It's the way the UK's done.
Our housing isn't designed. Our
housing is designed for this.
They're designed to keep the heat in, not let the heat out. So
you come out, and our houses are made up of like stone and brick, mate, with installation like that thick in the walls. We're set up for the winter time, and our foundations are not set up for this. I know, and also because there's that much buildings around us, there's very little open space unless you go in the countryside. So it's just trapped in heat everywhere. And plus, we don't all have a swimming pool out back like some people. You all right, Rich?
I'm good, thank you. It's nice and cool here. Nice and cool. No, it's absolutely.
Do you go in your pool in the summer?
In the summer, yeah. Not in the winter.
It's not heated.
No.
Shocking.
Well, you don't want.
Well, I mean, don't you?
Yeah, a lot of people have them heated, but it's a lot cheaper and nicer in the summer for unheated.
Yeah, you have aircon. We don't have aircon over here. We've got to buy a fan. We don't have aircon.
Hot air around.
Yeah, we don't get no aircon over here. What's aircon?
We don't get no air conditioning. Do.
Lovely, Rich.
Once heat is in, it stays and builds up for longer. It's hot. Are you going to do that again?
If you carry on whinging about air conditioning in a country where it's got to 28 degrees, then maybe.
Right, but 28 degrees what?
Centigrade.
Right, so what's that in Fahrenheit, Rich?
I don't know, about 80, not much.
Right, 80 degrees in the UK is not the norm, mate. We are not built for this.
No, but the UK is hilarious. Like, I remember as a kid, it gets to like -1 and the trains can't go because there's a bit of ice on the train tracks, or if it snows an inch, all the trains. Yeah, you go to the middle of France and they can have like 45 degrees hot and like -30 and cope with it fine. And Britain, if it goes outside that 10 to 20 degree range of like normality, chaos ensues. Heat wave at 20. I've had like because I'm coming to the UK for a couple of days' work, and I've had travel warnings.
You didn't tell us.
Keep hydrated. Well, I'm not going anywhere near anywhere except London, unfortunately. But they have exactly. Travel warnings. Keep hydrated and stay in the shade. I mean, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, but Rich, like you said, we have one little bit of snow and schools are shut. All the trains are cancelled. Plans are stopped.
Britain is just not designed for any weather outside 10 to 20 degrees.
What was that then?
That was the air conditioning turning on.
Why would you have air conditioning over there? It's like your winter.
Now I've got a little bit of heating. Just
34 in Birmingham. 34 degrees in Birmingham tomorrow. Kiss that, Rich. Hottest day of the year tomorrow over there.
Lovely.
No air cons. Houses and buildings made out of 1900s and 1800 brickwork and architecture. Because what we're bothered about in the UK is sticking a gargoyle and a fancy design on the front of a building. Bollocks to the people inside who sweat the balls off.
Ah, well.
That's how right tonight, any Rich.
Yeah, go down to the local duck pond at the local park.
Welcome to the Mancunian Way, the latest weather channel.
Yeah, go and have a little swim in the duck pond.
Buy your own fan 999. Buses, no aircon. Yeah, we don't get no buses on aircon on buses.
Yeah, open the window, Martin.
Right, let's get into it. Manchester City 5, Juventus 2. I have got some footage. It's only about, the longest one is 30 seconds. So FIFA, don't be dicks. Come on now.
Can you tell us about the weather?
3 seconds.
Yeah, what was the weather like over there, Martin?
Yeah, it was a bit wet, wasn't it, during the game? It started off at 34 degrees, but got a little bit hotter. Then there was a massive rainstorm.
It was Edison in net, Nunes, Akanji, Diaz, Ain't-Nore, Rodri, Reinders, Bernardo, Sabino, Doku, Mamouche, Bettinelli, Ortega, Moreno, Stones, Ake, Haaland, Nico J, who apparently everyone's having a meltdown over now because apparently he's not playing. Gundogan, Victor Hayes, Josko Gabardio, Rain Turkey, Hushinov, Phil Foden, who apparently can't stand the sight of Cherka. That's now the latest of the bullshit rumour that's roaming round, that they don't get on. Like, my God. Oscar Bob and Nico O'Reilly. Has anyone else got any bullshit rumours they want to add into all this? Because some of the shit I've heard this week is wild.
Yeah,
Pep can't stand Nico J. He's got his favourites. Foden and Cherky can't stand the sight of each other. It's like, what are we doing here?
I've heard it's a bit hot for Phil, and he's hiding in the air conditioning because it's a bit hot in Florida for him. It's not like the normal weather in Stockport. Yeah, it's not like the normal Stockport weather.
Yeah. Apparently, the reason that we didn't keep Kev is because we knew that he would melt if he came with us. So.
Yeah, we had to sell him because it was too hot.
Way too hot for a ginger.
No, the thing is, Staffy, this is from our own fan base. That's the wild thing, Staffy. It's our own fans saying this. I heard Martin is an ITK. No, never. No, nothing, mate. Not a thing. Pep hates Bob. Oh, has that been said this week? Hello, man.
I thought all this weather forecasting was in the know. You've been like the Bureau of Meteorology just give you a little bit of inside information and like.
Me and you were going to have a debate later.
That wasn't on the agenda. No,
because I didn't want to warn him. Because Rich sits there doing 3 hours research. So I thought, most of that.
I'm renowned for my hard work and research. Yeah, you're right.
Martin working in over 20 degrees is considered technical difficulties. Bastard. Are you coming on today, or are you saving yourself from the South Stand, Pat? Just let us know which one you're saving yourself for. Is it the Mancunian Way or South Stand this week? Hey, get arsey with me, I'll get arsey back, sunshine. Wait till the watch along, we'll all be sweating, fucking sweat. Well, I hope we're not sweating at 1:30 in the morning, Harry. I really hope we're not. Right, what did you all both think of the lineup then?
Good. Yeah, it was nice attacking. It blended the first and the bit of the second game too, so showed some really good intent. I think played a lot of the players who've been in form Players who've been better in the first few games. And it's wonderful to see Nunes and Doku in the team, giving us some of that beautiful attacking flair.
Yeah. Well, you were
So,
very
I was happy.
I think there's a little bit of a
Diaz and Akanji had a fight. And don't forget, Pep Linders is now Guardiola's boss. Can't forget that old one. Go on, Jose.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know that I'd heard there was a little bit of a meltdown with Bernardo Silva and Akanji playing, and, it just felt that was kind of reminiscent of last season, really, where a lot of people had issues with both players, which understandable when it comes to Bernardo for me. I think Akanji, as we all know, was really quite injured for most of last season. So, but I didn't have a problem with the lineup. I thought it was a good lineup. I was happy. So, yeah.
I do, Yusuf. But we'll see. I think we've got the better manager. There's the difference, Yusuf. Anyway, see, now, funnily enough, I listen, I'm not going to start the bigger Kanji thing again because I know that's where everyone wants to go down lately. It is, for me, don't think anyone played bad in the game. Take away the Edison mistake, which I get. I know everyone's going to look at that. And it was a balls up. But I'm not even going to pound him for that. And I've said this earlier on other shows, is I'm not going to jump about the result and the performance in the same way I wouldn't have been disastrous, majorly depressed if we hadn't won.
The thing about the Edison mistake for me is that we know Edison's got that in his locker. Like, he's due a mistake like that pretty much every season. Like, he's due one big kind of misstep pass. It just comes with having Edison and playing those risky ball signs sometimes out from the back. So it's nothing new, really. I think the news of him saying that he's staying now is great, because I think he's the perfect goalkeeper to play the Pep system. And I'm glad that we haven't got to look to replace him this summer, because I felt that was a step too far in the kind of transfers, that we'd have to look at replacing a goalkeeper at the same time we're replacing so many different, players within the system. So, but it's good to hear that he feels like his head's in the game more, that he wants to be at City. I think the ultimate test will be is that if he signs a new contract for me, because I think if we're still here in 6 months' time and he hasn't signed, then to me that's saying, yeah, he's happy to be here for the rest of this coming season. But beyond that, is he still looking for a way out?
Mm-hmm. I guess time will only tell. That's fine. Himself say I don't agree with you. I don't think we're giving enough credit, which I'll get into later on. I don't think we're giving enough credit to Yildiz's ball, actually. I think we're too busy looking for errors than we're doing praising sometimes an opposition ball. The amount of defenders who don't step out, you can count them. You'll see about 15 every single weekend. Not every defender steps up, because that is just not the way. Other than that, I don't think Akanji did out wrong. Don't think anyone was really bad in that game. I thought I was impressed with every single one. I want to talk about Jeremy Doku, though.
It amazes me.
Now, Rich, I know you wanted to do this, because I've been saying, and listen, I did not think it would happen. Because I was with Pep. I had never seen him do it. In the 2 years he's been here, I've never seen him invert in that way. But Doku inverted for a change. And actually did it very well and worked with Ain't Nora. And what a ball from Ain't Nora. That fake shot to set him up was a little bit sublime from Jeremy Doku. I thought rightfully got man of the match. Sorry, superior player of the match.
I mean, he's arguably been, and he was close to man of the match in the first game. as well. I mean, he's arguably been one of the best attacking players.
He was nowhere near Gundo in the first game. Rich, get off your arse.
Wasn't Gundo the second game? I thought Doku had a great first game.
Oh, I thought you said no, Foda was one of the matches in the first game.
Yeah. I said close. I know he didn't get it, but I said he was close to. I thought man of the match in the first game, and I thought he was great in the third game. I think he's got options
he's been the
now.
best player out of the regulars. Apart from the new players we brought in, I think he's been the most. Going forward, I think he's been our best attacking option.
And why? Well, he's got another player who takes players away from him, so he's not being double or treble marked the whole time. And the only option down the left, suddenly you've got Aït-Nouri, and a player like Doku is suddenly getting defenders pulled away from him. He's had space and options that he just hasn't had in the other, in the other games.
That's the thing, Neil. The goalkeepers get punished. That's why they'll always get highlighted more. The only thing I'd say is, Neil, that's Edison's best part of his plays is in out from the back. But that's the thing is, I agree with you. Almost all players make mistakes. We're starting to get into perfection world when everyone wants everyone to be perfect now and never make an error ever, and that's just not football. No, totally agree with you. No, not really, Chroma Base, because at the moment nothing else will happen until at the moment there is nobody coming in.
I think we'll hear more about outgoings over the World Cup than we'll hear about any sort of incoming.
Listen, I know. Listen, that's my opinion. I think Akanji has become the scapegoat. And I think it's because of the comments he made before we went to the Club World Cup. But Rafinha said it, and Jurgen Klopp has said it since, and there's not been a dicky bird said about that.
Akanji was getting stick last season, and it's very simple with Akanji. It's because he played injured, and unsurprisingly, he couldn't be as good when he was injured and carrying an injury that it was normally, and fans are punishing him for playing injured. Now, going out your way to play injured when you're...
We're coming off air, Rosa. I'm leaving.
Yeah, but you play a player injured and then they get stick for it. You should be giving them a pat on the back. Is this what? I
have no idea.
Does Martin want some Akanji debate or something? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I've been told that I've got a pro Akanji agenda, and I'm totally with you, Rich, on it. And I'm glad it's for me saying it. He's getting punished for putting his body on the line when everybody else was injured.
Yeah, and same. Honestly, Bernardo had some of the same last year. Bernardo played 100 games a year for about 6-7 seasons, and last season he's been called on to play all over the pitch. So unsurprisingly, he wasn't at his best, and fans are blaming players for giving their all and giving more than they should to City. And now, back in the day, that made you the hero. Back in the day when we weren't so good, the players who gave their all were the ones we loved the most, and now giving you all and going beyond seems to be, oh no, he's not as good as Maldini when he's got 2 injured calves, 5 injections, and a bad back. It's a bit pathetic, really. It's not an agenda; it's common sense.
Ozzy, just before you respond, because you might agree, you might not, and it's fine. It's all opinions. I was got to respond, citizen, because this is your thing that I don't understand at the minute. If we didn't let Akanji go, we would have to let a 40 million player like Reece and Kushner rotted out on loan. It's an easy decision. What has Kushner and Victor Hayes done for you, citizen, to be even talked about straight into the first team above Manuel Akanji, John Stones, or Nathan Acker at this point? Kushner's played about 3 games, and Victor Hayes has made 10 minutes in the Premier League. I'm not saying the good, but what I'm saying is why we're promoting people who've never played over someone who's had 6 years or whatever here. This is the bit I'm not getting at the minute. I need to understand this. What has Vic Tays done to go, he's better than a Kanja? He deserves to be an above Kanja. What? I'm asking you to. Hello.
No, honestly,
it sounds like you're asking.
No, I'm asking.
It's just, it's the same.
Got a response.
It's the same reason that
that was not technical difficulty. That was technical dum.
It's just, it's just some people, forget the past and think about shiny toys and imagine how great something's going to be, and prepared to rip everything up about that, even though it's quite possibly wrong. And other people, look at the wider picture, look at what's actually happening and make that call. I mean, I guess some people are imagining Victor Rice is already prime John Stones. He's not. And I think, honestly, with a couple of those, we need to keep them around with the senior players and bring them into the team, as we did with, Phil, as we did, last season with our Nico, and bring them in slowly. But I think we need to keep the senior players in the main. We need, obviously, I think we all agree we probably need Gundogan to go. We need De Bruyne to go. So we need some turnover, but we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right. Can I just say this? Because I think it's the same person saying it. We bought Cushion Base for a reason. Yes. For 10 years. Akanji's going to be here 12 more months. The reason we bought them then is because they wouldn't have been on the market in 12 months. Tottenham, Newcastle. Was there anybody else, has there? So no, Newcastle, Tottenham, and there was another team after him.
I think even Real Madrid were looking at him as well. To be
he wouldn't have been here in 12 months. We had to go now. I'm seeing it with Nico G. Ozzy, is that people are thinking we're buying them for now to play. A rebuild is not for now. A rebuild is for bedding them in next 10 years. So when Bernardo, Gundogan, Akanji, John Stones all leave, we've got their ready-made replacements already there ready to go.
I mean, without Richard's dog response.
They agree with you, Martin. They agree with you.
Sound like
I'm just using common sense.
Yeah, my dogs are quite sensible.
Normally. For me, I think it's the case that if you look at the back line, especially the back two, I don't think you'll see Diaz and Akanji as our starting two. I think it will be Guardiola and Diaz as the centre-back pairing going forward, because towards the end of last season, they looked good, in moments. I just feel that's probably the pairing that we're going to be going forward with. The question will be, who will be the right back going forward? Is it going to be Nunes, or is it that City will be able to bring in a right back before the end of the transfer window? Because I think you look at the likes of Akanji, Stones, even Ake, yes, they are coming to the end of their City life. It's a question of will one of them at least go before the end of the transfer window? Because it feels that if we're going to bring in a right back, then it feels that one of them will have to go to include a right back. Not necessarily, but it does feel that's.
Oh, no, I agree. That's why I don't think we'll buy right back.
I think it's still early. I feel that City could potentially get the business done. If it don't get done this summer, it'll definitely be next summer for me.
I mean, listen, Kobe, I'm not disagreeing with that. Kushnoff and Hayes are going to be brilliant, but they haven't done enough. If you have, the thing is, you've got to remember, Vic Hayes and Kushnoff, they may not be ready for 50 games. Let's go, roll them out. you bring him in slowly. Because I'm telling you now, Harry made a great point. You play Kushnerov or Vic Hayes in the Manchester derby and they make mistakes, it will kill them. And the fan base will destroy them. You don't do that with youngsters at the same time.
I mean, you look at Kushnerov. I mean, when he first was introduced during the Chelsea game, we saw him make that big mistake. But he recovered really well from that. And he went on to kick off and was probably the best centre-back during that period. You know, for what, 4 or 5 games he played solidly. So I think a lot of fans have seen him and feel that he can contribute now. But I agree with you, Martin. He still needs that time.
I think he's very raw. I think he's very raw.
I think what I'm saying is for the limited exposure people have seen of him, I think that's what people are hanging on to, is that they feel like the likes of Kanji, Stones, and Ake are probably done. You know, their future at City is gone for a lot of people's minds. So I think.
I understand that. I think for me I think Kushnerov's going to be a fabulous player, but I'm going to say something people don't like. I think he's too rough around the edges right now for Pep.
Do you know what I think?
He only made 6 appearances last season. Because if you notice, he started, like you said, you are fully right, Ozza, played 54 minutes against Chelsea, and then he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, and then you never saw him again.
Yeah.
So there's something he's not doing in training or in games that Pep is not fancying at the minute.
But I also think with Pep from last season is that he wanted to, as soon as our regular centre-backs were fit enough, he felt that he needed to rely on those players. He felt that his trust had to be in the senior squad, not a new player, and especially a young, barely speaks English player. You know, he felt that he had to, as soon as one of the centre-backs was fit, they had to come in straight away. And I also think with Kushnerov, I think his defensive work is top notch. Like, I really do. Like, some of the tackles that he made on some of the big wingers like Salah and Vinicius Jr. were excellent. But I think probably where he lacks is maybe going forward, which is maybe what Pep wants, is that he's more composed on the ball. He's able to retain it. Maybe that's what Pep feels that going forward he may need.
Kushnerov was our player in the match in his first 9 games. No, he wasn't, because he didn't play 9 games in a row. So let's not guess here, people. In the Premier League, he played 54 minutes against Chelsea, was on the bench for Arsenal, 90 minutes the next 5, and then you never saw him again in the Premier League. Can we deal in facts, please? Let's not make stuff up because it should.
He did play. Well, he played in Europe in the Cup, didn't he? So I think.
We were out of Europe, weren't we, by the time, nearly?
No, because he played in the Real Madrid game. He played
against Real Madrid.
No, that was it, though. But in the FA Cup, he only played 2 games. No, and he only played half a game each.
Yeah, I thought he played in 9. I thought he played in 9 games in total.
He was starting week in, week out, loads of minutes. He was not. I don't know. We're doing it with Nico G that he suddenly never started. We're rewriting a history to what we want to hear.
Nico played more than this one.
Yeah, Nico Riley played more than Kushnerov and Vic Hayes.
But this is my whole thing with like the center backs. And big up everybody. Good evening, the panel. I know people want to see the young center backs, but why don't we just give them a full season to be underneath Pep, to go the in and outs of getting prepared for the Champions League, you know, really grow and gain some knowledge from our experienced guys, because we're not going to be coddling them for long. It's really only going to be a year, because you got Akanji, Ake, Stones, who are all on their last year or 2 at Man City. If Stones doesn't go this summer, he'll go next summer. And then you're thinking about Akanji maybe going next summer. So I think they can just use the season to really develop, learn Pep way, learn the system, get more settled in, learn the language. And I think they'll be fine. But for me with the right back, we would just have to go to a back three. But you're also, if we go to a back three, you're also losing that right-hand side creativity-wise. Being, because you're going to have to, you don't have that bombing fullback.
Just show this. There you go. 6 Premier League games. He played 504 minutes. And I'll go into him because I'm being told he got 9 games. Stats don't lie, people. That's when he got to play with a month.
That's Premier League games. People said 9 games. So
from April onwards, he didn't come on. But I can't make that up.
No, but
from April.
Whole story on him. Didn't you see those stories in the Uzbek newspapers saying
they said
we had
made up,
5 million? 5 million if he started his 10th game.
So listen, I can't help it. He didn't even get off the bench because that's where that story came from. Is that if he'd have made any more appearances, we've had to have paid £5 million. I'm not saying I don't like Kushinov. I totally agree. He's going to be a superstar. I'm just saying, let the lad develop.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I also think
put him in there versus the Leeds. Put him in there versus a Sunderland. Put other opposition of that level. You can still rotate him in there with an experienced guy for those type of games.
I also feel that there's a lot of feeling that Akanji, he could be one of the ones that leave over this summer or next. I actually think he could stay beyond that because he's only 29. Like, for a centre-back, that's still in his prime. So, he's a player that I definitely think could stay beyond the next few windows because he's still got a lot to offer. And we forget he came in and absolutely, was one of the best signings out of anybody in the Premier League, not only because of his price, but for what he did on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think we're letting a lot of last season cloud our judgment. And the guy played through the injury barrier and the pain barrier.
Yeah, and that's what does my head in. That the idea that a player can play injured and not be given any leeway to not be quite as good as they are. I mean, the reality is, and I've said this many times last season, I think some of our players risked their long-term careers. I think, Ake and Akanji particularly played injured, and Ake's career is at risk because of those consistent injuries. When he was asked, I remember one of the games, he came in, he couldn't even sprint, and he'd come on to play, and he put his body on the line and his career at risk for City, and then the fans are whinging about it. Now, to me, that's not the way you treat a player. If they're putting their career at risk and they're playing through pain like that, you give them leeway and you think, bloody hell, what did Pep think the alternative was? Now, most of it, I know Martin would said this a couple of times and tend to agree. At times, we needed to take a risk and play one of our youth players and give the centre-backs a break because, honestly, had we done that early on, we might have actually got fit centre-backs because we let them recover properly. But we didn't, and therefore they played injured, and they deserve our respect for that, not our slagging off.
They're never going to because it's the new tie syndrome. People have got new tie syndrome. They want the new ties. And it's the disrespect that I don't like. It's the way we're treated. We're doing it with anyone now. It's like anyone we want out the door, we can't just say, let's see what happens. We've got to get them out. And I don't know if it's frustration at people haven't gone yet. Some people are not playing. It's like, Gundo's playing instead of Nico G. Nico G was bought as a backup. I'm going to break a bit of news here, but now Nico Gonzalez was bought as a backup.
Can I also, just before we move on to Nico, because I think Nico's it, but just to say, if you think about the players we've brought with us to the Club World Cup that have actually got a future pretty much with the club, especially even if it's just one more season, the two big players that we haven't brought with us that are causing a lot of issues are not here. Walker and Grealish. You know, those were the two players that didn't step up really last season for various reasons that we don't need to go through properly, but we all know what they are. So for me, when someone was talking earlier on about the squad harmony and how good the players look when they're training, if the likes of Walker and Grealish should have been there, that would have affected the team. Because even if it's, you know, I'm sure they all get on really well. You know, we know behind the scenes that Kyle Walker is really respected by a lot of the players, but it would have been just the media pressure. It would have been Grealish, why is he not starting? And Kyle Walker, blah. That just would have been the focus. They're not here. And the players that are here are the ones that got a future. And these are the ones we need to kind of go, yeah, you know, they've got time to prove themselves, unlike those two.
What about Akanji laughing when we got cut by Sporting? Like I said, Max, Haaland laughed when he missed chances. I get it, Max. You and MCFC and others are not keen on Akanji, and that's fine. That's your opinion.
It's the same reason though people laugh when they're in loads of trouble or they get caught out or, you know.
Oh, I have kids doing that all the time. Stand on the wall.
Yeah. You either cry or you laugh, you know, in extreme emotional circumstances. Well, yeah, and sometimes you do things at different times, but there's a thing like a nervous laugh, and it's like it's the only way to react.
There's also laughing at yourself as well, Rich. Like Harlan's probably laughing at, like, I can't believe that I've missed a goal that I'd normally bury. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but I think we should talk a bit about some of the other agendas. Like, for me, how good were Nunes and Doku? You know.
I thought Doku was exceptional.
Alan must have had a bloody sack on his head or something.
Savinho, Nunes, and Doku were amazing. But Ed, I'm going to ask you. You were there. Now, he did send this. This is live footage of Ed. I think the first one, he was figuring out his camera because this is all we got. Was you figuring out your camera then?
Yeah.
Did you press play and stop at the same time? Play it. No, stop it.
Well, right. I was walking. You know how you have that space in between the seats, and people are just walking by. So that's why I was.
Well, then we got this one off air. And then we got this one. He did that to piss me off because I knew that was coming. I'd already seen him. Was that the end we were in?
No, you were on
the opposite. Was that the opposite end?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Those footages were brought to you by Ed Mancuni of the recordings. So yeah, I mean, what was it like, Ed? Because you were in there. Atmosphere. What was it like?
I thought the atmosphere was good. I mean, you're not going to get your classic UK experience, but I did think there was a lot of support there for City. I saw a lot of people with City jerseys on, and it really erupted once we did start scoring. So it was a good time, man. I really, it's always a good time to watch City play, but especially when you have like some of the big hitters. So I enjoyed it, man. I really did.
What was the weather like?
Well, see, like a usual Florida weather, man, it flipped on its head, man, because it was really hot all the way up until the game, and then like 20 minutes into the game, it really just like poured down.
Yeah, the rain looked terrible for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, And then it happened again for like 10 minutes, and then it was good. But after that, it was cool. I mean, after the rain, it was really cool. You could tell like the players the difference when they played in the heat before compared to this time. They're really moving around. Passing was quick. It was a good tempo. I mean, it was a really good game from a city perspective, right? 5 goals. I think, like Martin said, a lot of players played well too. It was good to see the new guys too. So it was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to go back. Unfortunately, with work, I can't go to tomorrow's game. But if we on 4th, again, we play on 4th of July, and I'll be there. So,
no,
see, Ed, the weather, that kind of rain you get in Manchester, but the difference between Florida and Manchester is it's cold, it's windy, it's really miserable. I've got a question for you, Ed, actually.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I missed this, Ozzy. I want to make sure. My apologies, Ozzy. I will come to you in 2 seconds. But Timmy's paid your wages for the week. Timmy, thank you for your very generous £2. Winger system might not be dead after all. I think it might be different keys for different locks, Timmy. I think it might be different keys for different locks, depending on the opposition. I think the front line will differ. But saying that, again, I'm going to say this. I don't know, because at the moment, Pep hasn't chosen a consistent 11 at any point in this whole damn tournament for me to know who is the starting 11. Pep is literally treating this like pre-season right now. This is why one thing I do want to see is, because one thing I will say this, by the way, big up to Matt Ozzy before you go is do you know what the annoying thing is about this is? We're going to do all this, and then they're going to come back and then piss off again for another 2 weeks. They're all going to go back off on holiday again.
And that's if we don't get kicked out early.
Yeah, it's like, and then we all come back again, and it's like, so I don't know. This is why I'm not jumping because we're going to win, and I'm not going to have a meltdown if we lose. It's just, let's see what land. My focus for this is seeing a new style of play, a quicker style of play, and seeing how good our players gel together. Because people are going on about Gundogan, but Gundogan was bloody man of the match the last game we played. People forget this, and Gundo was very good at the back end of last season. He was getting goals and assists again at the back end of last season.
Overhead
so I think we just got to. I said people have just got too much PTSD on last season, or too much PTSD on that one winning 14. If we take that 1 out of 14 away, and everyone feeling a bit more calmer, I think. We're going on, Ozzy.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, obviously some of the big talking points over here have obviously been the weather, but one of the talking points that's been talked about is that the way it's been kind of sold over there in the States, that it's not well publicized, that, the times that it's on, that most Americans, because we know it's really difficult for you guys to get annual leave. You don't get like we do over here. So is that the case that it's just, if you're not a City fan, you're really not going to know about the game very much, because that's what I'm hearing, that it's very not particularly been well organised, that the American public know that it's even going on, which kind of leads to the actual World Cup when it's put in America, and the times that the games are going to be played, and it's going to be put on for a television audience rather than the audiences in the States.
Well, I think it was a couple issues. I think also the pricing at the beginning. Like, if the pricing was how it is now, then they probably would have got some more people too, because the pricing was ridiculous when the first.
What is the pricing now? Has it changed again?
Well, the pricing now is like between I know for the Al Hilal game there was like 85, 90, 100. But that's more typical over here anyway. So I think more people will be willing to pay for that, because when it first came out, initially it was like 300, 400. And nobody's going to do that, with family and yeah. But you are right, Ozzy. It wasn't well publicized, because, I think the FIFA guy was hanging out with the streamer Speed, but it news channels and stuff wasn't really covering it, and it wasn't putting out like stuff at schools or anything about it either. So maybe that could have been different too. But I think I know some games have looked not a lot of people, but I would say for City at least, it looks like they've always carried a crowd. Because even at my team, there's about 50,000 people there, a little over 50,000.
Was it more full than the Barca game?
No. The Barca game was almost sold out.
See, that worried. See, that was an actual preseason friendly ad.
Yeah, but no offense, Barca carries more of a crowd than Juve over here.
I think City do it, to be honest, as well. Because
no, there's a lot of City. I'm saying there's a lot of City support there.
Oh yeah. I think that's because City have really kind of sold themselves really well in the States. Do you know what I mean? Over the last 5 years, they've done a lot of pre-season tours over there. They've really built up the fan base. You know what I mean? Compared to maybe some of the other clubs like Juventus who haven't really, unless you're a diehard fan, you know, it just doesn't seem that way. Where City actually have, I think, have become the #1 team in America to follow. I mean, that's just on TV viewings. I don't know realistically if that's actual fans, you know, but you can only go off on the numbers of TV, can't you?
Yeah, and the trouble is you never know. And because I know some of these TV audiences are, because I know they do it here for Premier League, it's on tickets sold, not people through the turnstiles. If they actually counted the bodies through the turnstiles to people selling tickets, I think you'll get 2 different numbers. Because how many supporters buy tickets and don't go? Even City have admitted that's happened before. There's loads of people like because they'll always say City will always have a minimum of 30,000, 34,000, because that's how many season tickets they've sold. So they'll always put that on the numbers. But you can tell sometimes, you know, there was one where the whole top level was shut off, and they went 40,000. Piss off! Bloody top level shut, lying bastards. Where have you got that from? Including the tea lady.
Mind you, I guess in terms of what actually hits the books of the clubs, it's the tickets you sell, not who turns up. It's only fans counting other. It's only fans counting other clubs' fans that care about whether there's empty seats if they're sold.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do get that. Can I just sorry, because I know people. Martin, if Miko G is a backup to Rodri, then why is Gundogan getting off? Because it's just pre-season. Pep, it's rotating the players, mate. Pep did an interview last week, and he already said that Nico J. Well, no, his exact words were, Nico Williams is the backup to Rodri, and then someone went, Nico Williams. He went, Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah, he'd just been on the No, but you've got to. That shows a misunderstanding of Rodri's position, though, because Rodri doesn't play as a.
And Nico
Gundogan doesn't play as a backup for Rodri, and has barely played that since 2019. Gundogan's played, you know, an attacking 8. You know,
Nico
half
G,
the time almost like an 8/10.
Yeah, Kushinov, Victor Hayes, Nico G will be absolutely fine. Do not worry about them; they're all going to play. Gundo is just having his last tournament before he wanders off to Turkey. Doing well. My God. You know, let's just calm down a bit. Bloody hell, Ruben Diaz has hardly played any minutes. So we're selling him tomorrow. Is he out the door? Josko Gavardio didn't play last game. Is he shipped out?
Can remember what we were missing as well last season. We missed Roger because of what he could do.
A big squad with squad rotation, and now we've got it, and everyone's going, why is he not playing?
Yeah, but I think we also have to remember that position, when Roger first came into the team, he was known as Plodry. You know, I mean, most of the fans were going, we need Fernandinho in this position, not Rodri, because he's no good. It takes time to learn that position. It takes experience to learn that position.
Yeah.
You know, even before when Fernandinho were lambasting before Rodri, we also criticised Fernandinho when he was put into that position. You know, so
No,
we
I
have
think
to
we're getting
accept.
a bit of a moany fan base, Ozzy. We like a moan at the players on the way out now. We
Well,
like a whinge, don't we?
If we like a whinge about the weather, Martin, it's not surprising we like a whinge about players.
Yeah, we haven't
Get that
whinged as
shit
much
John
about the
Stones
players
out.
as the weather.
Right, let's get John Pebbles out the door. Bloody hell. Let's get John Pebbles. He's lost his stones.
Don't upset him, for God's sake, Rick Martin. He'll have a go down there in a minute.
When Stones is there with the Champions League this season, and his 7 medals.
Why does Livramento depend on outgoings? Because we've got 33 players, max.
Yeah.
33.
Yeah.
That's why, mate.
Guys,
Yeah,
we have 2 whole months before the window closes.
Yeah.
Like, people just need to
We've got
relax.
3 11s at the minute.
And
We
have 4 players on that homegrown list. Now all 4 senior players on that homegrown list who aren't even in the squad with us.
McAtee
Who we've
is
got to
going.
get a shot off.
Big up to James McAtee for captain England under 21s to beating the old enemy as well. Take that, you bastards. Take that, you bastards. Right in the
No offense to any German followers to the channel.
No, bollocks.
No,
bollocks to it. Yeah,
forget
bollocks. We do take a fucking event. This is England, Germany, mate. Very different. Very, very different now. No, I'm joking.
Ed, don't do it, mate.
German fans, but but yeah, big up to James McAtee, who's shone.
Where's Alan Winston Churchill Howarth this morning? I thought he'd have been on with like his red bowler hat and
the link.
You know.
It is a shame though that he is going to leave. 25 million quid is the fee we've asked for. I told you it'd be a bit more than 10 or 15. What Ed was, some of the prices this lot were all coming out with on Spaces a few weeks back.
I said, no, I said 30. I said 30.
What did you say? Who said 10 million? Someone said 10 million for him. I nearly fell out with buddy. See?
No, that was Danielle.
Was he
Danielle?
Danielle?
The tournament
What are we doing?
Didn't he get player of the tournament?
Pardon?
Didn't he get player of the tournament as well?
Player of the game. Like
player of the game. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the tournament was probably Elliot. I thought he was the one who was.
It looks like he is going to Germany. Is it Freiburg, Leverkusen? I know Leverkusen were always in. Dortmund are after him, which is a bit weird.
Frankfurt.
I wouldn't rule out. You know what? I keep an eye on Leverkusen. You know. Just to confirm, people were asking me, there is no sell-ons to Jamie Gittins.
Yeah.
Another mistake by City.
We'll put a sell-on back.
He couldn't do a sell-on. He was 15 when he went. Can't put a sell-on on that. He wasn't technically signing legal papers.
I thought he was older than that, if I'm honest.
No, I did, you know. I thought he was a lot older than that.
He's been over there for a while.
Yeah, and I was like, he hadn't even signed professional pro pay because I think in it. Well, I'm not sure because I know Give Me Sport and just some of the Daily Mail. Someone said we may end up having to go to a tribunal on fee. You know how Chelsea done this a lot, haven't they? You get the fee about 2 years later when it's gone through the court, and you get like 2 million quid.
No, we had to do that for the lesser guy, but that didn't go through. I don't know about it. They didn't say that for the Newcastle.
No, it's a weird one. But yeah, that's very true, Harry. But no, big up to them. I hope 25 million quid. So yeah, we'll see. One thing I wanted to come back to the game. I wanted to talk about Savinho because I've got to say, what a fucking hit, son. What a fucking hit. That was like Martin's sweet left foot, that. But he hit it on his right. That's how I hit him on my weak side.
Behave.
And do you know what I'm loving at the minute? We're now shooting from outside the box. First time.
Do you know, Martin,
When was the last time you saw any of this?
Imagine you doing your best shot. It would have been more like Haaland's goal, you know, trying to hit it with the left and it goes in off your right knee.
If you watch the watch along, I did call him Erling Sean Goater Haaland. That was a typical Sean Goater goal. Went in off every part of the body that could.
Yeah. Mind you, Haaland's play for Foden's goal, how good was that?
That was good.
That was as good a bit of play as we've seen from him in his whole time at City. That was just exceptional. The first touch and then, you know, getting the ball controlled and that pass, that was just sublime.
Well, no, spicy potatoes. We are going to demand a sell-on clause, a buyback. Sell-on. There will be a buyback in the McAtee deal. So you never know.
Well, no, but that's what happens with a little coaching, man. You know, sometimes I think a report came out about the coaching, right? So sometimes coaches just sit down with a player, go over, okay, you get in these positions. Why not take it first time? Have a little bit more confidence. That's why you have coaches like Toure talking to him, laughing with him, joking with him, to, you know, fill them up with confidence, to take those shots.
And the other thing is, did anyone notice on the Foden goal? Did you see Haaland go up to Semenyo and say you should have scored that? Yeah. You should have done that yourself. But I mean, I just loved the whole thing of the game, and even Foden and Cherki, for all these BS rumors that they hate each other, they were knocking the ball around, doing 1-2s with each other for fun. And the scary thing is, you know, I will say this: Bernardo missed a one-on-one, Foden missed a one-on-one, Haaland missed 2 one-on-ones, Cherki missed one with the keeper. That was an easy one. That could have been double figures, you know. But I know it wasn't the strongest Juventus team either. It was half the Juventus reserves as well. And it wasn't the strongest City team. This is why I'm finding it so hard to judge where we're at right now. I don't know where we're at because I don't know what the bloody hell's. I don't know what Pep's thinking.
I was telling Darsh that we're going to know a lot about this team because we play Inter, Chelsea, and PSG possibly next. So we're gonna find out if we advance past this Al Hilal game. You know, we're not gonna look past them. But if we can advance, we're gonna get 3 pretty good opponents that we can actually gauge ourselves with and be like, okay, this is what we need to work on a little bit more.
Do you know what I found quite interesting? Like, especially going back to the wingers, especially Doku, is that since Pep Lijnders has come in, for me, that I feel that he's probably been working a lot. It feels like how Arteta was with Sterling, you know, because Doku reminded me a lot, especially of that game, of Sterling, what Sterling was like on the wing, during cutting you on the inside. And I just feel that possibly with Pep Lijnders, he's doing what Arteta did when he was the manager. You know, he's working a lot with the wingers. You know, he's putting his arm around them and trying to get the best out of them. Because I think, for me, especially with Doku right now, I think he's got so much attacking threat that we know what he can do. I mean, his dribbling is fantastic. Going past the man is brilliant. We've all said, and I've been saying it for months now, that if he can add goals and assists to his game, my God, he's a frightening player going forward. And he could replicate what Sterling did for us. So I think if he can get anywhere near that level, like seriously, I think he's got so much to give.
I don't think they ever will, Ozzy, though, because I think this is going to be majorly rotated a lot.
Possibly, but as you just said, though, Martin,
Phil Foden and Ryan Cherki ain't sitting on a bench.
No, but we don't know the system that's going to be going forwards with Pep.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it'll change.
Possibly, we haven't seen his strongest 11 out, really. If we're being,
that's why it's so hard for me to judge where we fully are right now. This is where, and if it's like if we were playing the strongest Real Madrid team in 2 weeks in the final, and it was the strongest City 11, then I can judge. But I can't judge until I see it, and that's because. But then again, because because Elliot made a great point on this. Is Pep Linders trying to do a Mane, Firmino, Salah at City? And he's either going to use Firmino, Doku, Haaland, or Mahmoud Cherki, Haaland, with Foden just sat behind. He could do either.
But that's not a bad system, is it? If you really think about it.
No.
If we can get the best out of all those players, my God, that's scary. And that should be scary for the rest of the Premier League. Because if he can reproduce what he did with Mane, Salah, and Firmino, I mean, that's for the rest of the league, that's a worrying attacking threat.
No, but that's things, and that's what we're saying. People, this thing of Cherki starts a lot of games. Foden, you have to take all this out now. You can't ask for a big squad and then demand everyone to play week in, week out. This is what I'm saying. We can't say Rodri shouldn't have played 70 games, and then Rodri doesn't play 70 games. We moan.
Do you know, I think what a lot of people, and I'm going to be honest now, I think a lot of people are not going to like this, but for me, the likes of Cherki, I don't think he's going to get many games compared to the likes of Aït-Nouri and Reinders. For me, because he's younger, he's got less experience in the Premier League. You've got two players with Reinders and Aït-Nouri who, one is definitely got the Premier League experience, who's at a good age, but then you've got Reinders who's also been tearing up in Serie A, and he's old enough and got that experience that he's just slotted in like a plug-and-play player. And for me, if I'm honest, I was more excited to see them two than I was Cherki, because yes, Cherki's got the flicks, he's got the tricks, he's 2-footed and all that. But for me, it was having these two players come in and be able to slot in and produce what we knew they could do in Series A and what they could do in the Premier League with Wolves. I was really looking forward to seeing that combo, especially with the attacking link-up with the likes of Doku and the rest of our attacking force, with the likes of Reinders being able to play those balls in. That's what I was really looking forward to. Cherki, he will come and he will eventually get more games as time goes on, and I think he will be a fantastic player going forward. But I do feel that people are going to have to be patient, because, as you mentioned earlier on, Martin, we've got the likes of Mamouche, we've got Foden.
Yeah, I think I think what Elder says right. I think it's going to be now if you perform.
Yeah, because we've got enough players to play in different
Because,
positions.
we're not even taught Bernardo. We're not even taught Tosca Bob. No, this is how deep our squad is.
But
it's quite scary.
About Doku, I was listening to somebody break down like our formation, and what they were saying was, and it really was a great video to watch, that we moved Doku inside, and so now he can just run at a center back rather than a fullback, and also it creates less distance to the goal for him. So now he can just beat a man, and he's already in the penalty box, rather than him dancing all the way out on the wing, on the touchline. So we might see, this might be a good, this might help Doku, and we might see the best version of himself. I know there's been a lot of talk about Doku, maybe selling him, maybe he's not a good fit, but now it's on him to show this level consistently, because it was a really good showing. And
just let you know, FIFA, I have shared that on X for you, mate. So big ups, go on there and you can check that out. Big up, FIFA. Appreciate that. Rich, I know you have to drop soon.
Yeah.
Are you worried about any of these? Because we've got Al Hilal coming up. Are you just the 11's the 11? Or are you getting into the situation where we now need to go strongest 11?
I think, I don't think we probably quite know what strongest 11 is. So, I think we've usually, when we're playing well under Pep, there's a strongest 15, 16. And within that, we don't know what the team's going to be. So, I think we play a decent side. I think we take the core of the Juventus game probably for 3 or 4 changes, just to keep the rotation, keep the, do what the physios need. But I think we take it very serious. I mean, we've got the better side of the draw, no question. You know, I think for going deep. So yeah, I think we should be aiming to go and get get as much of the 100 million as we can, and take them very seriously, tweak the team, and go and try and win it. That'd be a huge financial difference to us if we can go and get through to the final. I'd like to see us continue with Doku and Ait-Nouri and probably Nunes and Savinho, to be honest. Even if that does mean not picking Cherky or someone. But I think I'm just laughing at the comments because there's all these comments about Cherky's the best passer of the club.
I know I'd say this has become new choice syndrome.
Yeah. We have to actually see them do it for the club before we can say because of that. I think they can become that, but
you can tell you lot are desperate for success. You are the people who peek at your presents on Christmas Eve. You are. Yes, I do, Dash. Do you know why, Dash? Because Foden's done it in the Premier League. Why am I glazing over someone who's done it in League One? What are we doing here, Dash? Stop it.
No, we can.
Sorry,
we can glaze
you want to glaze over
we can't.
Too.
We can talk about their potential. We can talk about
but that's where we're
about
at.
seeing them,
Potential.
but they're not. You become the best player at the club.
Do you know what? We've lost
doing it for the club.
As a fan base. Our loyalty has died. Our loyalty died.
Loyalty, and I think also
we've got no loyalty to our own players anymore.
We have. It's just what you're talking about.
Sorry. Can I ask a question? How many Premier League Player of the Years has Ryan Cherky won? I rest my case.
Yeah, guys, we're saying Foden is a better passer because he almost had 20 assists.
He's done it. We've got evidence behind it.
We almost had 20 assists in the league, guys. I'm not. Yeah, we're saying Foden's a better passer. Let's calm down.
No, I agree. I'm not denying that, Colb.
Let's wait and see.
Phil Foden in League One, would he have better stats than Cherky? Stop talking like League One is a fantastic league. What are we doing here? The Premier League is 10 times better than League One. I am going to back a player who has done it in the Premier League. I don't get why that's such controversial. If you said to me now, right now, on the 29th of June, this will be even more controversial. Foden is better in the Premier League than Florian Wirtz. Because I know one's done it. One's coming into it. Does that mean I think Wirtz is shit? No. I need to see the evidence first.
Yeah.
And just out of the three new signings, Reinders and Ait-Nouri have been the better passers. The stats don't lie. So before you start glossing over Cherky and he's the best passer since sliced bread, it's just not fact. He's a very good player.
But I don't know because he's only played a game and a half, Marshy boy.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You're giving me a small sample size and then saying...
Guys, we all like the nutmegs. We all like that.
That's what it is. It's the nutmegs in it. It's the nutmegs in it.
Yeah,
it's the fucking nutmegs that have done it. This is the FIFA generation. This is the nutmegs.
The first touch out the air. We all love it.
Yeah.
We all love it.
Doing it.
Yeah. But no, I mean, right wing, though, I mean, from what I've been seeing, Foden has been the 10.
But the League One is shit compared to the Premier League, mate. The Premier League is 10 times League One's. So let's not do this.
Foden's been at the 10.
Don't compare a subpar league. And do not tell me League One is on the same thing as the Premier League. Can't even get a fucking sponsor.
Foden's been in the 10. and Turkey's been more the right wing inverting inside.
Yeah,
So
I've watched Phil Foden win Player of the Year for the Premier League. Yeah, Pear is Premier League bias because the Premier League is the best league in Europe. Deal with it.
Martin, let Ed finish.
No, fucking rattled now.
We'll have Turkey. I see more of Turkey on the right wing, as of right now, and Foden in the 10 because we've seen Foden at the 10 and what he can produce at the 10. So I'm in agreement with that. And so Turkey can compete with Savinho. He can come in but they were all interchanging anyways. There's no set position on the pitch for us in our front line, really. So yeah, man, I think we're gonna rotate a lot. I think we're rotating even for Al Hilal. I think that's one of the benefits with having our group, with having our routes, that we can rotate a lot. That we can, give people time to learn the system, grow into the system, build chemistry with each other. And I think we'll probably see that again with Al Hilal. I think after that, once you reach the quarterfinals and the semifinals, that's when you're going to really see European competition. And that's when you're going to really see probably the starting 11, probably.
Well, like I said, Ed, the thing that worries me is I just want City fans to back their own team and back their own players.
Yeah, and show.
That's all I want. I'm sick of this new toy syndrome. It's like babyish. Yeah. I want my new toy, my new rattle, and I want brand new looking wrapping paper. And when that wrapping paper's there, I want a nice little bow. Fuck your boat, ass. What?
I think that's going to be clipped. I can't wait. That's going to be clipped.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now.
Anyway, I have to go and say goodnight and leave little Renty. Yeah. You've got yeah.
It's all right. He just needs his bottle before he goes to bed.
I've been giving him a bit
of life than someone who's been here when I've had longer shits than. Listen, Citizen, I will say this again.
Oh, God. I don't want to hear stories about Martin's best dump, so I better get myself off now. Night, everyone. Welcome
to he's frozen, I think.
Yeah, the weather and poo channel. Anyway, night.
LB, you're not. No, you're backing the new players. You're backing people who've been here for 30 seconds. Come on.
You're right, Mike. For me, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like, that's fair enough. Like, you feel that Cherky is better than Foden right now. That's your opinion, and we respect that. We can disagree with that opinion because we've seen Foden do it 5-6 seasons since he's been at City. He's won the Premier League 4 times the bounce. He's won the treble. He's won player of the league. So Cherky's literally just arrived. And there is no denying that he's a fabulous player and probably has a very bright future ahead with City. But he's got to play for City on a regular basis before we can start going, he's the best player City have got. Right? I'm sorry, but he's not right now. For me, the best signings that we've made so far are Aït-Nouri and Reinders. Those are the 2 best signings I have seen on a consistent basis play so far, and the numbers and the stats don't lie. Cherky, yes, he's looked in flashes really good. He scored, is it a couple of goals now? Yeah, that's all well and good, but it's still so early that I've not seen enough of him to turn around and say anything like he's the best passer in the team, that he's the best player in the team, because it's just not true.
Yeah.
Fair play. You're happy with him. I'm happy with him. I'm really glad that we've signed him, and he can go on to have a great career, hopefully. But until we see it on a regular basis, until he starts putting the numbers up, like, don't get carried away.
No, and that's all I'm saying. Listen, Ryan Cherky may very well be a much better passer, player, everything than Phil Foden. I don't deny that. I'm just saying, let me have more than 100 minute sample. That's all I mean. Can I have more than 100 minutes? And this is what creates narratives on this Doku Grealish. Like I said, just back them all. But I'm going to back players who have been here a lot longer. That's all I'm saying. But no, LB98, I can't agree on the passing thing because I'm not seeing Cherky do it in the Premier League. And I'm sorry, no, I don't rate League the same as I rate the Premier League. I really don't. I really don't. If you want to do that, that's fine. Pay. Well, I'll know, mate, because I'll be in the Etihad. Week in, week out. Anyway, right. Where you at tomorrow? I'm fired up now. Fucking fired up. Let's go. Come on. Hey, you're on mute.
What are you thinking about this next game, guys? What are you? Anything you guys want to see?
Looking forward to it.
Are you a little worried about Al Hilal?
I'm a little bit more concerned with Al Hilal with the players they've got compared to what Juventus put out against us, because they have got some decent players in their squad. So if they play all of their players, which I expect them to play their best players, then I feel we could have a bit more of a game on our hands.
Each get $5 million if they beat us.
Well, I mean, I don't think money's probably the biggest thing, is it, for Al Hilal? You know, I think it's more about the competition itself, that they feel they want to kind of earn the respect of probably the audience out there, because I think, let's be honest, outside of that league, I don't think many people are watching it possibly. I think they're watching maybe Ronaldo, maybe, but I'm not seeing the viewing figures anything like where the Premier League is at. So, you know, it still feels very much a retirement home for a lot of the big stars. It's not considered a serious league, let's be honest, yet. It may do one day. Who knows? You know, the world changes, but right now,
the other day of people comparing the Saudi Super League to the Premier League, and this is what I mean. And then people say this is just Premier League bias. It's not. The Premier League and La Liga have the best players. Why? Because they're the best leagues. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna. It's not even about being nasty or anything. The Portuguese league is not as good as the Premier League, or is not as good as the Bundesliga, and he's not as good. The Bundesliga is not as good as the Premier League. Why? Because Bayern Munich win it every fucking year. How can it be a competitive league when the same team wins it 10 in a row?
Yeah.
Come on. We did 4 in a row when we were getting called the Farmers League, but we're back in 10 in a row. This is what I mean. I do think sometimes the Premier League is getting this real bad situation. I don't know why.
It comes down to what we've said for a long time, though, Mike. It comes down to what we've said. The Premier League has now become the #1 league. And we've even joked and said it's now the Super League, because the money is there. You know, when you've got the likes of Nottingham Forest that can outspend the likes of pretty much most of Europe put together.
No, we're not saying that.
It just shows that really and truly this is where the money is, and that's where most of the top players are coming now. I mean, don't get me wrong, yes, the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich are able to pull in those players because of their history and their reputations, but really and truly, you only have to look at the audience figures. The Premier League is the most watched league throughout the world, and it's not just by 20%. It's not just by 30%. It's more like 70%.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not saying the bad players. I'm saying they're leaving them leagues to come to a better league to progress their career. I'm sure people are not understanding quite what I'm getting at here, For some reason, I think people are taking this as a personal attack, which is a little bit weird, actually. I don't understand it. But Bernardo Silva left Monaco to progress his career to the Premier League. I don't get it. I don't get what people are finding hard about this. Tenale and Reinders left Syria to progress their careers. I don't get what's hard at the minute. I don't know. What am I saying that's offensive?
Nico G left Porto to.
Yeah, what am I saying that's offensive?
You only have to look at the majority of stars that have come into the Premier League. You know, it's not just coming to City; it's coming the likes of Florian Wirtz going to Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? It's like Gitters, you know, leaving Dortmund to go to Chelsea. You know, it's the Premier League is one of the most attractive leagues because of the money that it can give these players. Do you know what I mean? And it can give them the likes of winning the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just how successful the Premier League has been and continues to be.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not even. Yeah, I don't get it. I think people have misunderstood what I've said. But did Mbappe leave Ligue 1? Albeit not yet, he left. Bruno G left Ligue 1 to come to the Premier League. Turkey left Ligue 1 to go to the Premier. Nico G left this Portuguese league to go. I don't get what I've said. That's really offensive. Weird.
Guys,
I disagree with you, Marky Boy.
There's only a handful of clubs you can come from that isn't a level up when you come to City. That's even in the Premier League. Wolves, West Ham, Fulham.
No, that's fine, Corbett. I just disagree for now because I'm not seeing it yet. Seeing it in 1.5 pre-season games, I can't say he's the best creator going. Is Florian Wirtz a better player than Mo Salah in the Liverpool team? Some Liverpool fans will say no. The best player in our team is Rodri. I don't know what that's. By gum. Right, what do you think of tomorrow?
Go ahead, Ozzy.
Well, I mean, like I've already
Dash.
Like I've already touched upon it. I do feel that possibly that we may face a slightly harder opponent because of the players that Al Hilal have got, and they will, I would imagine, play all the strongest players. So I expect it will be a stronger 11 from them compared to Juventus. So I also feel that we're going to start seeing Pep decide who he feels the regular starters will be because we're now entering the knockout period. So we may start getting an idea of who Pep sees as first teamers. You know, because I think even though you could turn around and say, yes, Al Hilal are, again, Premier League opposition, it's starting to feel that Pep needs to start finding, because if he wants to win this competition, which I think he does, it's not just the club. I think Pep, he feels it would be great to have City as the first ever winners of this. So he takes all competition seriously. So I would expect possibly, you know, he'll start showing us a more serious 11 going forwards and a more, you know, yeah. That's just the way I see it. It's as you pointed out earlier, Mike. It's such a difficult thing at the moment because it's a pre-season, but it's not a pre-season because it's a competition, you know. But it's still not. It still doesn't feel like everything's on the line. Like if we got knocked out, like tomorrow, is anyone going to be seriously upset about it? Like it's not the end of the world. It's not being knocked out of Premier League. It's not being knocked out of Champions League.
Oh no, some will, Ozzy, and that's their opinion.
Yeah, again, some will, but I think for most of us, it'll be it's been an enjoyable watch. I'm sure some of the fans out there in America would have loved to have seen what they've seen so far, and be disappointed, obviously, not to be able to see more games going forward. But realistically, this isn't the bread and butter for us. This is very much a halfway in between last season and the new season that's coming up. It's very much a experimental. It's still the players currently out there kind of half taking this serious, but half also enjoying themselves a bit, which is not what we saw last season. From all the rumours that have come out lately, that a lot of the backroom staff weren't talking to the players. Like it felt like they just abandoned and weren't talking and weren't saying what was going on. Was slightly worrying, really. And I think that's one of the big reasons that Pep decided that, I can't have my coaching staff not talking to the players, when we're in a bit of a crisis. I need people behind the scenes that are going to really push this team to go out there and win every competition again. So I think this is a clean slate for a lot of the players, for Pep, for the backroom staff, and for us as a fan base to just move on, because this is our moving on period now.
I think this is part of the issue. I don't think we'll move on. I think we've got to be like top of the league and flying for some in the fans to move on. I think last season has caused too much PTSD.
It has, but I think once we get into that new season, I think.
That's what I'm hoping, and it just because the one thing I will say is I've never seen our backroom staff. The one thing I will say is Pep Linders and Colo Torre, I've never seen a backroom staff look as happy as they do that last game. The way they were just jumping about and laughing with each other. That's what I want to see from this tournament. I'm not bothered about the results. I want to see the togetherness back, because I think we lost that last season.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what I want to see back.
It was obvious that every player, every coach, even Pep at times, they were just gone. They're all checked out at times during last season, and it was very much, there was very little togetherness, and you felt that as soon as one player made a mistake, the team imploded at times. Do you know what I mean? And there was no emphasis. There was no kind of someone getting the neck by the scruff of the game by the scruff of the neck and actually trying to sort that.
But that's sad. That's sad, that comment. I agree with it, but it's sad. Don't think the PTSD will go away from the fan base. It's too toxic. I think somehow, I don't think it's all. I think it's some.
I think you're going to get a lot of it online because, again, I mean, yes. I try and stay away from a lot of the online stuff because I do feel that generally when people are online, they're more toxic, they're more negative. It's just an easier space to be negative because it just breeds negativity. So I think what you have to look at is, and I'm sure Ed will agree to this, that the fans in the stadium were all happy, were all buzzing, were all excited. And I think the fans that go to the everyday games, like yourself, Martin, will be 100% behind the team. Do you know what I mean? There are going to always be elements of certain bits of the fan base, especially online, that are not always happy, and they will.
No, by the way, I did see the top of the league. Yeah, I don't think it is all fan base because MCFC lads, Luke is a young lad, top of the league, and he's like me and Big Steve and Ozzy and Rich and Ed. Ed's in America and he's like me. Well, we can't do this just because it's not all the old fan base and it's the new fan base doing the thing. I think it's people's independent perspective on it. So I think some are a bit more patient than others. Some are here for just everything. This is why I've always said is learn and understand the journey. And it's up to, and so, yeah, I get what you mean, but I don't fully agree with it.
I mean, you only have to look at, like, what happened to Liverpool a couple of seasons ago where Klopp had a bit of an implosion. They lost Van Dijk, and all of a sudden they finished at the top four, which we didn't do last season, just to remind people. We didn't fall out of top four like Liverpool did.
That's what I mean. Our worst season is not even Liverpool's worst season. Fuck me. Thank you, Ozzy. You've just totally. Thank you so much. What comment of the year? Comment of the year by Ozzy. Well done. That is spot on. We've never dropped to fifth like Liverpool have.
Yeah. Yeah,
and don't tell me we've got more standards than Liverpool. They won 6 Champions Leagues. What are we doing here? Come on. Ozzy with what a comment, Ozzy. Loving it.
But just to also put things in perspective, just before you come in, Ed, just to also put things in perspective, remember how bad United were last season. Okay.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean now. Top of the league, I get you. Yeah,
let's not forget how bad our local rivals are. Do you know what I mean? If anyone has any right to have a meltdown because of how far they have fallen off their perch, it's United. And dear God, am I enjoying it?
It's
so
soft.
much.
They can fall into an abyss for all I care.
Oh, I know. But this is what I'm saying. Like, we are nowhere near those levels. So let's put things in perspective just that little bit. Sorry, Ed, go on, mate.
For me, with Al Hilal, I think we're going to see a low block because they're going to have Inzaghi. So I think it was good to play against Juventus because they'll probably still set up similarly, but they'll probably have more energy, more fight. So it's going to be a really good test to see how we can just break that down. I think, I don't think we'll see the strongest 11. I think he'll give some players another rotation. And of course, he's probably going to use the subs again because he's been using the subs every game. But I think it'd just be a good opportunity to see how we can face against low blocks. And hopefully with the creative players we've had and the chances that we've been creating, players will go out there in confidence. And I think we'll go through.
Yeah, that's weird. I said this the other day, Simon. It's weird because technically we win this competition. It's the 2024-25 season, not the 25-26. So Pep's won a major trophy in our shitty season. How weird's that? And he only clicked it the other day when I saw Haaland's 33rd goal of the season. I went, hey, what? And then I realised it's continuation of last season. This is what I mean. I don't even know what fucking season we're in at the minute.
Also, going back to the game with Al Hilal, you have to remember, like, City in the group stages have been the best team going forward. They've accumulated more goals. They haven't lost the game compared to every other team out there that's played so far. So Al Hilal, they've drawn 2 of their games and won 1 to get into the knockout.
Well, yes, the results tonight are PSG 4, Inter Miami 0. João Neves with 2, Alvarez with an own goal, Hakimi with the 4th. Yeah, it was Inter Miami. Please don't tell me Inter Miami are an amazing team. I don't want to read that in a minute. Someone's going to type it now. I've said that. Bayern Munich beat Flamengo 4-2 with Harry Kane, Goretzka, and Pulgar. So, yeah.
That was a good game, though. That was a good game.
I've not watched any of it, so I don't know. That's what I mean. I'm not. I don't want to. David C, by the way, I'm still apologise on the João Pedro, mate. I've heard you going after Xavi Simons now. Listen, you're going to have to up your bloody money on Xavi Simons, pal. 60 mil ain't getting him here. 150 grand a week won't get him here. Come on, mate. You gotta get going, David T, on these movements, mate. See, look at that from Devious. Even Devious Ducky's being positive now. Look at that. City will slash. I like it, Devious Ducky. A bit of positivity. Come on. Let's spread the love. Now hold my hand. One on the right, one on the left. Let's get in a circle and let's sing. Come on. Kumbaya. Let's go.
And don't forget, for Newcastle fans, you're going to have more money once you sell Livramento to us. Do you know what I mean? You'll have that extra money.
That's why I'm waiting, Ozzy. That's why I'm waiting. That's why I'm looking at these deals closely, Davey, because
we've actually looked at offering them 2 players and money and we got told to piss off.
So this deal is not going to happen overnight, and this deal is not going to happen during the Club World Cup. It's going to happen.
I don't think this deal's happening full stop, Pozza.
Well, you said this about Doku being a good winger for City, and look how wrong you were there. So we shall see going forward.
Shade on Jeremy. Rest in peace, Jeremy. Rest in peace, Jeremy Doku there. Anyway, no, yeah, we will be back tomorrow. Is there any, Martin, according to you, is there a chance we get a Livramento? I don't think he comes. I'll be honest with you, Max, I don't think we make another signing at the moment. There are no plans at the moment to make. The only one you may look at is Ortega. I think Ortega's getting a little bit itchy feet.
I think both stay, and I think there's a good possibility we get right back. I feel it'll be Livramento. If it's not this summer, it'll be next.
Yeah, no. Oh, no. By the way, I'm not saying we won't buy you right back. I'm saying we might not get one this summer.
I think there's still a deal there to be done.
Yeah, I think we'll know.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But all right, then. I'll ask you what LB asked this the other day. What price you go to? Because there's got to be a limit. Otherwise, we're going to end up into silly numbers here. I don't want to be doing 90 million just because we've not spent here. Let's chuck it to this. I don't want to be stupid in the process.
I'm sorry, Mike. Is it coming out of your bank account?
No, but I don't want to have.
Then why are you worried about the money that's spent?
You want Tino Livramento to be the world record defender?
If need be, yes.
He's good. He's not that good. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. We said the same. A lot of people said the same thing about Walker when he came through the door. A lot of people said we overspent.
That wasn't a record transfer fee.
I think you'll find it was at the time.
For a defender?
Back. Yes. For a right back, it was. He's got to be right, hasn't he, Ed? He's got to. I'm so right.
No, because I'm not. I don't want to pay 89 million for him.
Listen, it's not coming out of your bank account, Martin. So,
no, but that's piss taking. And
I'm sorry, Martin. Listen to me for a second, okay? He is a very good player. He's English, so you also got to put that on top. Plus, you're also taking him from Newcastle, a rival. All right, so
you think he's worth more than
he is worth what the selling club are willing to sell him for. There's always a price, and Newcastle have every right because he's still under contract. He's still got 3 years plus.
All right, then why didn't we just pay the money for Wirtz then?
Come on, man. That's
no.
You're talking about 300K wages. You're talking about
that deal would have been.
Hang on. So City pulled out
300 plus deal.
So City didn't sign Van Dijk, Maguire, and all these other players because they were too expensive. But you want to drop a record fee?
No.
On a 22-year-old.
Did we not
65
pay a record
for 65
pay for a record fee for Jack Grealish? Now we can argue whether he was ultimately worth it.
Release clause, very different.
There's
no negotiation
but it was still what I think it was still we would have paid somewhere near that because that's what Villa wanted. He'd already signed a new deal, so regardless whether it was a release clause.
No, I think if it wasn't a release clause, I don't think we'd have touched that money.
Again, there are arguments, but at the end of the day, for me, if it's a player that City feel that he's a player for the next 10 years, he can play on both as a left back, as a right back. He's versatile. He's more likely going to be England's right back for the next 10 years. He hits so many quotas that I can see City going, you know what? And Martin, you can say that we've saved in other areas and it doesn't matter, but actually it does because with the money that we've saved, because we haven't spent big on transfers for the 4 signings that have come through the door so far, yes, you can go and spend a bit bigger on an English talent that is going to be with us for the next 10 years.
But why is everyone getting edgy on the money we've spent and not being? I don't get that.
Well, Mark, the thing for me is, right, like, if we win this tournament, and I know It's not. We're getting
Doesn't
it
all
right
go on
now.
transfer. We're spending 350 million on a women's facility. What are we doing? Let's see this. That's not.
Well, Martin, that's separate
the
money.
easiest thing
That's
we're doing
separate.
here.
That's separate money. Don't put that into the.
Does you know come out the same bank account as?
Yeah, but when you talk about transfer, when you talk about
can always
transfers and infrastructure, they're two
winning
separate.
the Club World Cup doesn't all go into the transfer kit.
I didn't
But
say
it gives us some bonus.
Ed was. Ed's saying, well, we've got it doesn't go into a transfer kit.
Some of it will.
Some
Right,
of it.
Pardon, why am I trying to wind up here? Why am I not allowed an opinion?
But like I said, 70.
No, 1 minute, Ed. I'm getting annoyed at this by people. Why are people banning me for my opinion, Pardo?
We all know, Martin, you're not allowed your own opinion.
I know I'm not allowed my own opinion. I know that.
Have to accept it. You are the face of this channel, and the face of this channel gets the most stick. I've been telling you this for years.
I do hours and hours and hours, and people ban me from my own opinion. It's quite frankly starting to piss me off. And I find it a little bit disrespectful, to be honest.
The panel values your opinion, Martin. The panel values your opinion.
And I think most of the people in the chat value
tons of people in the chat.
I don't understand. Disagree with me, but don't disrespect me. Little bit different. I'll have people think, but do not disrespect me, because I'll stop doing it.
Listen, I also think with Livramento, if there wasn't a deal to be struck, in all honesty, Newcastle or their representatives would have come out in the media, turn around and go, he's not for sale at any price. Like, he's staying with us at Newcastle. That hasn't come out. City haven't denied it either. Do you know what I mean? So for me, there's something rumbling behind the scenes that City are trying to get this deal done either for this summer or they'll try and do it for next summer.
Do you think
it does seem to be their top target for right back?
Yeah. Do you think he's worth it, mate?
Yeah, I do. Because it's we can argue the toss over its extortionate amount of money for a player that's a right back, blah blah. But you only have to look at the inflated prices that a lot of teams have paid for over the last couple of years. Yeah, look at Cucurella when he went to Chelsea. Now, we weren't willing to spend that money that Chelsea did because we didn't ultimately think he was worth it. And I think in a lot of respects we were right. But City feel that this is the player that they could go out and spend the money on. Now, as I've said to Martin, it ain't coming out of your bank account, and it and the piss it will boil for the rival fans because they'll all turn around and go, "Oh, you spent 80-odd million on Livramento, blah 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 blah." Well, if he goes on to be half the player that Carl Walker was, are we going to complain? No.
He's 21, so he's very young for me.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah. 22, all right, 22. I watched him at weekend in the under-21s, which I only watched him a few times, to be honest with you. And both of their goals were his responsibility, and he let them have a free rein down the left-hand side. He's a project.
You're going to judge him on 2 games, are you? You're not going to judge him on the game against Liverpool where he has Salah in his back pocket. You're not going to judge him for that game.
Hang on. To me, he's a project player. He's not the finished article.
I didn't say he's a finished article.
Yeah, to pay 70 million or 80 million, whatever they want, for a project player.
I think he's a bit more of a project player.
I'll be honest with you. I would rather go and get Reece James for 70 million.
Behave, Alan. Don't talk absolutely.
He's a better player. He's a better
player.
No, because that's a bit wild, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I'm not denying that Reece James, when he's fit, he's on his day, he could be one of the best.
No, Pado, I would like.
The problem is he's way too injury.
85 mil, I wouldn't know.
No, that's why I said 65, 70. 65,
no,
70
65, not a problem. But 80, 85, it's the world record bit I don't want to do. That's crazy. I can get Hakimi out for that kind of money. And Hakeem is a better right back than Livramento, with all due respect.
Yeah, because we're going to do a deal with PSG.
I can get Vanderson for 35. He's 23, Brazilian international.
But you know what? We can't do that, Mark.
Listen, I'm the people to be able to speak to, and the way I've seen City move, you know they don't like these big fees. We dicked around at 2 million quid over Gvardiol. I just don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to go to the levels they need to get to.
And we might not, Martin, but
that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah,
listen, would I love him? Of course I would, but not at that money.
Because it's coming out of your bank account, obviously.
Well, it kind of is.
But that's what I'm saying. If Newcastle still struggle for signings into late July, I think they might lower that price. I think they might.
If you say 60, 65, I'm all over it. If you say 50 and a Rico Lewis, I'm all over it. But here's the thing, I don't think they'd do that. Because I had a chat with someone who's quite knowledgeable up at Newcastle today, Baz and Ian, you know about.
Yeah, they want cash.
Not going nowhere. They're not selling him.
I don't think
so. That's not the news that's coming out of Newcastle, though, is it?
Yes, it is. No, it is the news.
No, it's not, Martin. It's not the news.
You ask any Newcastle reporter, Ozzy, they're all saying he's not for sale.
But they haven't publicly come out and said this. They may be saying it to people, that they know, but it's not coming out on the.
Break open all that out.
I'm sorry, but I.
No, they always say it will take a significant fee to take
exactly. Him out. Thank you, Ed. They've not turned around and said categorically there is no way we're selling him. It is. They will want a big fee if they are even going to consider it.
You would pay a world record fee. I wouldn't.
That's fair enough, and that's why we all have a right to an opinion.
Of course, I just think you pay a world record fee for that, you are setting yourself up down the road.
But hang on a minute, we paid a world record fee for Grealish, but we won't do it for the right back now. How does that make any sense?
World record fee for a midfielder.
It was a British world record fee at the time, Martin, especially for us as well. Yes, it was.
I mean, Morgan Rogers is 80 million too, so I mean,
it was the first £100 million player in the Premier League.
Listen, I'm not arguing.
Look how much everyone said he's been shit and they don't like him.
Again, I'm not been shit. Hang on. At the end of the day,
he's not helped himself, Howard.
Hang on. He's talented. We all agree on that. Okay. Is he overpriced? Probably yes. Massively.
Yeah.
Is he the finished article? No, he's not. He can play left and right. He's got ability. Is he a future England player? Yeah. With the guy from Chelsea who also plays in the same position. All right. Is Richie
world class now? Do you think he's world class now?
Not yet. Nowhere near.
Even I would agree that Livramento isn't world class.
So I mean, I'm thinking he did 85 mil for
Martin. Is he, Ed? He's got potential as a project.
No, I think I think he has potential.
Ed, we don't know if he is or not. He's a good player.
How much did Liverpool get Frimpong for?
Not 40 million.
If Frimpong was,
oh God, he could have. Why didn't we do that deal?
I watched. At the end of the day, do I think City should spend 70, 80 million on a 22, 21-year-old player, whatever he is?
Especially when you got Cafunas.
Yeah, and do I think we should spend that kind of money on someone?
Say that again. You all heard that. Even the chat heard that. I said Cafunas, and Alan went, "Yep." You all heard that, then, didn't you? You all heard Alan say yes on Cafunas, didn't you?
I watched Wesley.
He's changing your mind, innit? You're going round a bit.
I watched Wesley as well again, and there's no difference between him and this Livramento.
Behave,
Alan. Come on, Alan.
Behave. I'm sorry, Alan, I'm not accepting that. You cannot accept a player from the Brazil league and then put Livramento next to him. Behave. Come on, I'm not going to let you get away with that.
It's funny, Brazil win more World Cups than we do.
Oh, what's that got to do with the slice?
Alan, have you softened your stance on Cafunes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Shocking.
Wow.
I think this guy has got the talent, and if he was like 60 million, I would buy him. But he's not 60 million, he's a rip-off. And Newcastle are trying it on. But on the other hand, I don't think Newcastle will sell him anyway.
Hang on, whoa, Lucas, where have you got that from? Because I've got Fabrizio's tweets up. At no point has he said, I'm in direct contact with Livramento's agent. Where have you got that from?
No, it's just making
Where's that come from? He's
he's
direct.
just making it up.
Come on, come on now, Lucas. Where's that come from?
He's
I've got
making
his
it up.
tweets up now.
He's making it up, mate.
Come on. See, now, I would... Vanderson, 35 mil, 23. The only problem with Vanderson is you'd have to sell more foreign players than what you would.
The problem we've got at the moment is we haven't got any English players. So I agree with you on one point, I'll see, right? But on the same point, there's a point where we're getting ripped off or not. And I object to paying over the odds for a player.
That's where I'm at. It's not the player. Livramento was it. I'm with you. I'm with you and Pardo and Ems. I love it. Buy him. Great player. But I don't want to have my pants pulled down and it shoved up my rear end and go and enjoy. Don't want to do it at that price.
Well, that's partly our fault as well, Martin.
So, no, I know it is. And I know Ozzy's going to go. It's not our money. But for some weird reason, there's something I'm hearing now a lot of. But we've only spent 100 and odd mil.
That's why we win this tournament and get 100 million.
No, but where's this come from that we must spend 300 mil every summer?
No.
You can get a mansion. You can get a mansion for $1 million or buy a mansion for 4 mil. Which one would you rather do? No, go on, Ozzy. Which one would you rather do?
No, the circumstances have changed. We're getting watched now, left, right, and centre. You know we are.
The thing is for a top team like we are, and for a position that we need to improve on and get a replacement for Kyle Walker, and because we need more English players.
I don't think they'll sell him.
Quota.
I don't think they'll sell him.
That may still happen. I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Alan, that it might not happen. But I'm telling you that right now, City see Livramento as the player they want. Whether they get him or not, it's debatable. Whether they pay a world record fee for him is debatable. As Martin has said, there's a possibility that they pay something like 60 odd million and one of our players goes that way. You know, I think there was rumours that they may have offered Bob at some stage, but Bob didn't want to go. So I think there's a deal to be done. And let's be honest, we've all said it. Every player is up for sale. It's just a price. We've even turned around and said, if someone offered us 250 million for Haaland, City are not going to turn around and go, no, that's not going to happen.
Can I just say, Lucas, I said 65 to 70 for Gibbs White, and I said City pulled away because of the price, and it's I agreed with.
I don't think City will pay that kind of money.
You got to realize people are not looking at signs. Morgan Gibbs White quoted 85, walked. Verts, silly money. Yes, he did say no. They also found out it was too expensive and walked. They walk away from silly valuations. City don't do desperate.
Yeah, and also with Verts, it was also that he wasn't given guarantees that Pep would stay beyond his 2 years. And Pep is not going to turn around to anybody and say whether he's going to stay 2 years or more.
Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
Bozo Kobo. The thing is, right now, you want me to be honest with you? I think Pep thinks Nunes and Akanji can do the job.
I think Nunes can do a job when needed sometimes, but I don't think consistently he's good enough as a right back, as a first choice. And I think if we're going with having those type of players like an Aït-Nouri and hopefully, you know, a proper right back, I do feel to have that balance in the team.
I think
better.
I think Núñez is okay against the mediocre teams, but against the top sides, I think it's struggling.
No, but my point is, Janassi, as you know, is I'm not saying Livermento's not a good player. I'm saying he's not worth 85 mil, in my opinion.
Not yet. Another few years he might be.
And you see, I like Munoz. The trouble is, there was that old saying that LB even said, buy twice, but pay cheap, buy twice. I don't want to do that game either. And I think City are probably thinking, you know what? We can get a Vanderson in 12 months. We can get somebody else in 12 months. We'll go with what we got. This is the same team who went 7 years without a left back, and you think they're going to hit the panic button over the right back after 1 year. They're not going to do that.
No, and I generally accept as well that if City feel that there isn't a deal to be done there with Newcastle, whether they are willing to pay a higher fee or whether there's a deal for a 65 million plus, Maxi, for argument's sake, for the moment, that deal could be done. But if it's not, I agree, you might. I think City can walk away and they'll stick with Núñez. I think
it's the world record bit, Ozzy, that scares them. If the world record was 100, I think they might go 80. All right. I think it's that world record tag, because if you listen to Khaldoon's interviews, that's always the thing he mentions. Because they were so proud, remember, of never being in the top 10 of all these transfer fees. Remember?
Yeah, but even after if we were to do that deal, we still wouldn't be, in the world record fees. Chelsea have already beaten us to that, and
not for
Arsenal
a defender. It'd be the biggest transfer fee in Premier League history for a defender. At the moment, Harry Maguire's the top one, and then Josko Gvardiol. And that was where the Josko Gvardiol was at. They were so proud of it because they got it under.
But there's still no saying that sort of deal can't be done. Do you know what I mean? So
I don't think Newcastle will take less than 80. I don't think they will.
But that's what I'm saying. Something might happen in the transfer window that they might have to.
I think you've also got to take it from Newcastle side as well. As Ed said, I think with the way some of the signings are going for Newcastle at the moment is they're losing out on a few of their players, and because it looks like they're not willing to spend the extra bit of cash, is the point where they think, actually, we may have to sell. And they do not want to sell someone like Isak. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to sell their big players. So if they have to sell someone like Livramento to help fund the rest of the transfer for this coming summer, because remember, there's a lot on the line for Newcastle compared to where they were when they first entered the top four and got Champions League. Everything has changed. You've got the likes of Villa who need it now. You've got other teams desperate to get back into the top four, like United, your Spurs and your United. But there's so much on the line right now that they need to invest in having more of a squad. So if they have to do a deal where they get something like 75 million for Livramento, they'll do it if they have to. Because they don't want to lose their big stars like Isak.
I mean, well, there's another thing. Let's go back to what we said at the very start. What you do with Big Tays and Kushner?
Listen, for Kushner, I think he'll stay. But for Victor Hayes, I think there's a good chance that he might still go on loan.
No, if it's up to Pep's more keen on Hayes than he is on Kushner at the moment.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it just depends on how things progress over. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen ultimately in the future. One of them could end up injured, So
no, I get that. I'm just saying is, remember, let's go back. People were all, well, when does Kushner and Hayes get a chance? Never if you're bloody buying another one.
Because we look at it and we only talked about those are centre backs. We're talking about a right back right now. With the likes of Ake, Stones, and possibly Akanji in the future, those are 3 players that are going to be gone within the next 12 to 18 months or 24 months.
I just think there's been no indication from either side that we're getting him.
Yeah, but Alan, what you have to think is this type of deal isn't going to happen overnight. It's not going to be done during the Club World Cup for us. Okay, this type of deal wouldn't happen until after the World Cup, and it wouldn't happen until late in the window, because from Newcastle's point of view, they can't be seen to be rolling over for the likes of us. They've got to be. It's got to look that they put up a fight, that they've tried to keep him. I can't give you an exact. Yeah, because
I think if you go too late, Newcastle will definitely say no, because then they've got no time to get anyone in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be late, but I'm saying it's not going to be as early as now. It's not going to be as early as straight after the Club World Cup, and all of a sudden Livramento rocks up. I think you're talking, a few weeks after the Club World Cup, possibly.
That isn't going to happen, Max. See, this is what people are hoping for, and they're not going to get it. This is what people are wanting. They're not going to get it. Them two are not going to go. And I think fans need to get that. I think you need to come to peace on that.
I'm going to be honest with you, Martin. I don't think Kanji goes, but there's no argument to say that if someone or City feel that Stones can go and they've got room for him to go, that could still happen between now and the end of the
moment. John Stones has said, I don't want to go nowhere.
He may not.
Middleweight?
Exactly, he may not want to go, but that doesn't mean that City won't entertain an offer. If someone comes in and says, yeah, we'll offer you this for Stones, and they go, yeah. If City want a player to go, he'll go. They've done that with Grealish. They're doing that with Walker right now.
Do you think he plays at the Club World Cup, John Stones?
He hasn't so far, which is, for me, been a little concerning, because I thought Stones would have at least played before we got to the knockouts. So if I was Stones, I'd be a little bit concerned that I've not even had 20 minutes off the bench. So for me, that's why I still think there's a possibility he goes. Because he's turned around and going, I'm fit, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to get on the pitch and do something for City. But if behind the scenes, actually,
there's got to be a buyer like that. At the moment, nobody's coming to the table for our players.
But sometimes when a player knows he's not fully a part of your plans, they find a club to go to.
And this is what City will be saying to the likes of Stones, the likes of Walker, the likes of Grealish, that look, there's a World Cup coming up, and these players still feel they can play for their countries. It's going to be, as harsh as this is, but behind the scenes it'll be done. It won't be done in public, but they'll turn around to these players and going, listen, you have no future here. You need to go out there and look for a club. You need to find someone.
Are you telling me Stones has been told to go?
I'm not saying that definitely. I don't know that for certain, Alan. I'm saying that if they feel that he doesn't have a future, they will be telling him, listen, you need to go out and find a club, because if you want to get into the England squad and you're not going to be playing for us regularly next season, he's only got a year left on his contract, Alan. So if he wants to play regular football, he may have to move for the sake of his England career.
The fortunate for him, there's no fucking central defenders that are any good enough to play for England, which is true. They're not. They're crap.
Yeah, but again, I mean, they've got what's his face from Crystal Palace that I think is decent.
Mark Gahey, you got Konsa from Aston Villa.
He's going. Yeah. Mark Gahey's gone to Liverpool. That's first been wrapped up. It's another one that I find. I'm going about that one, by the way. Branthwaite's signing
he's going to Liverpool. Yeah.
Branthwaite's signing new deals. You can take him out.
Yeah. So, these in 12 months, Alan, things can change a lot.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think they're going to stay. I think the plan is keep everyone. And then
I'm pretty sure.
Out of contract next summer.
There's two reasons why I don't think Livramento will end up at City. One is I don't think Newcastle will sell because they don't need to, and they're trying to compete in the Champions League, which I think is important to them. They've won a trophy for the first time in God knows how long. which is brilliant for them, right? They don't need to sell Limerone, so they don't need to sell a centre forward that they've got. I just don't think by doing that is the right thing for them to do. I also don't think City will pay that kind of money for anyone. Like, not right now, not with this new sporting director. I don't think he'll pay it. I think that's one thing. I know, Ed. I know we want to get one. I get that. All right. I want to get a right fullback. I'm desperate for one because I don't think we're good enough without one. But I think we're barking up the wrong tree to get this guy.
There's no way they'll let two go because then you're down.
But Alan, this is the thing, though, right?
And not letting two go.
Even next season, even if we sell some non-homegrown players, we did have players who are getting older that will fill that void regardless.
Yeah, in 12 months' time, we're just going to wait for him to time out. Can I just share this? If you're selling a Kanji and Stones, you've only got Ain't Nora, Ake, Diaz, Cabadio, Hushinov, Rico Lewis, and Big Taze.
Stones is not going. Stones is not going.
That's far. That's too less.
Stones to me.
Rico Lewis, a lot of people say isn't good enough, and Big Taze and Hushinov are still quite inexperienced.
Like I said before, if we don't sign a right fullback, Rico Lewis and Nunes stay. Right? If we sign the right fullback, one of those two I've just mentioned will leave.
Because you think we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, and we'll say Wilson Esperan, Kyle Walker, John Stones, and Kanji go. You're down to 8. And that includes Big Taze, Rico Lewis, and Kushinov. Is that not a bit too much of a gamble then?
Yeah, to me, Big Taze needs to go out low.
Not necessarily, Martin, because you only have to look at Stones' actually his injury history. He hasn't played.
No. I agree on that. But what I'm saying is, Kushinov gets injured. Where are you at then?
The thing is, though, Martin, is that this is the point of period where we've had more centre backs in our history than we've had at any other position. Do you know what I mean? So we could lose a couple of centre backs and we'd still cope, especially if we're looking at having a left back and a right back. And we've got someone like Guardiola who could play at left back. You've got a Kanji. Kanji could play at right back. You've got Ake who could play at left back. So we've got him
last year and a half.
Yeah, but he appears.
Is there anybody else in the panels?
Compared to Stones, Martin, he's actually injury record's better than Stones. So
I'll put it this way: when John Stones is fit, he's the best centre back we have.
I agree.
He's fit, but he's not regularly fit.
No, but that's what I mean. But when he's fit, I agree again. But is the 10 games better of John Stones than nobody?
Martin, is there anybody else?
How many games last season?
Right, let's try. Is 10 games of John Stones better than 0 games of nobody?
For $250K a week?
Yeah, potentially.
It doesn't matter about the money. Ed, that's our own fault. We've given him that money. We're talking about John Stones like he's been here 5 minutes. He was Pep's first or second signing. He's done 10 years.
He's only had 4 seasons out of 9.
No, you wouldn't talk about KDB like this. This is getting crazy now.
No, it's not.
10-year players we're talking about them like the bags of shit.
No, Martin. No. I don't think me and Ed are turning around and saying that John Stones is a bag of shit.
John Stones deserves a send-off like KDB got.
Why? Wait. Why?
Yeah,
because he's been here for 10 years.
10 years KDB has played.
Did Aguero get us that send-off? Did David Silva get that send-off?
Yes, they did. Aguero did, yeah. It's just he only did it with half stadium in Ozza.
Okay.
It was on TV, Ozza.
Okay.
It was.
No. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to. No. What I'm saying though, Mike, is you're not going to get a KDB and Aguero signing off like for every one of those players.
Every single one of our legends has had a send off. Zabaleta got a send off. Yaya, Company, Aguero, Bernardo will get one.
Gilligan?
KDB got one. Well, why can't John Stones get one? So what you tell me, everyone who's done 10 years apart from John Stones?
No,
What
I didn't
about
say
Gilligan?
that, Martin. You're putting words in my mouth now. I said, I didn't say he wouldn't. I just said it doesn't mean that he's going to. Not every
Edward,
player
Why
always
should he
does.
not?
I didn't say he shouldn't.
Edward,
But you're losing my original point. and I
Gundo
think you're
didn't do
losing-
10 years, Ad.
I can ask a question?
He's more.
please?
No, with the club, Ed, it's that 10-year part. It's that 10-year part.
Is there
I
anybody else?
I separate
No.
KDB from John Stones. I separate them.
No,
Going
of
back
course
to-
you do. Of course you do.
Going back to the original point, we're talking about in over a season, a period of time, John Stones has not been fit enough over the last 2 to 3. Like he's made of glass, sadly. And you're totally right, Martin. When he is fully fit, he is probably the one of the best centre backs we've ever seen play at this club. There's no denying that. But the problem is that he's not consistent enough to be fit.
And
And-
Gustavo, we can't include Juma He's at Nice.
No, but we can look at him for a future possibility.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
And if worst case came to the scenario, Martin, I'm just saying worst case scenario, we could always take him back off his loan. Someone like Juma.
No, we can't. It's a fixed 12 months. No recall on it, apparently.
Well, I haven't heard that, but
Yeah, you
No.
can't recall.
Yeah.
This is what for me is I think some are panicking a year too soon. It's in my opinion. I think all the defence issues will be sorted out by next summer. Stones will go on a free. Kanji may go. Aki may go because he's in his last deal. I just think we're panicking a year too early.
No, but if you lose,
I don't think it's about panicking. I think it's
I'm
just
saying
about,
one. If you lose one of them, it's not a big issue. If you lose
You just
one.
bought.
it's not as big as an issue as you're making out, Martin. If we
If
were
you
to
lose one of them, you're
one,
okay. We're not saying
we're
two.
fine.
We're not saying two. We're saying
Yeah.
one.
But again, you need a buyer.
And if there's if the player can find the buyer, they will find the buyer.
Like if he doesn't play at the Club World Cup, I think that's a huge message.
I think
Gundogan's
it's
playing at the World Cup, and he's still going.
yeah, but he's not made out of glass.
Well, that's because of not homegrown, Martin. Come on now.
I'm loving these. People are just switching everything in. So Gundo
If
plays. Does that mean
keep
he's staying?
Gundo, he would keep
Stones
Gundo.
doesn't. That means he's going. I don't know which one it is.
I don't remember.
We know
saying
Gundo's in a different
anything about
position.
Gundo.
Okay, Gundo's in a different position, Martin. Come on.
I don't. I think some of you don't realize how Pep loves Stones. He's like.
Well, we're not talking
you
about
said,
Pep. I'm more
he's
looking
got-
at Beyond.
He's got big balls. Big balls. Big balls. Yeah. John Stones. More balls than anybody.
Hang on, Martin. Hang on a minute. I think, in all honesty, if Pep could have kept KDB, he would have. But the club made the decision not to give him another contract.
Yeah, I know. But
So ultimately, it's not on Pep entirely that he makes the decision. That's the final.
No. I'll say yes. Totally agree. But the massive difference between Stones and KDB is one's in contract, one's not.
Yeah, but again, Stones has only got a year left of the contract. City don't have to ask for an extraordinary fee.
So you want us to spend a world record fee on a right back?
Oh my God.
We get,
There
we
we
get
go.
peanuts back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know when we became a charity. So we
What did we
sell
sell Mahrez for? How much did
buy
we sell
a world
Mahrez for,
record.
Martin? We sold Mahrez for 20 million after having how many
Yeah,
GAs?
that was nothing.
So I think the club has done that before. It's not like the club has not.
So when does the club make money?
Oh, behave, Martin. We don't. It's not like we need to sell a Stones to make money. Now you're just being ridiculous. The amount of
No, I
fringe
just
players that
no,
we sell at the
I think
academy.
you all
or
think selling the
someone like-
players that easy.
No,
It
it's
can
not
be-
going to
it-
take time. Nobody's
It
saying
can't be that.
count.
No, it's not Aussie. It's not.
Oh, but what I'm saying is, if a club feel they want to get rid of a player, they'll get rid of a player. They look
No,
at
you
what
don't have
happened with
to, no.
Cancelo.
It's under
Cancelo,
contract.
they got rid of.
Hmm?
So if
That was because Pep wanted him out as well. Pep doesn't want Stones out, and he doesn't want
I
Gundogan
didn't
out.
say he did, but I said the club. I didn't say Pep. I said the club.
No, you just mentioned Cancelo. I'm just saying there was a difference with that because there was a combined. We both want him gone.
Yeah, I'm not denying that, but I think that the point has come in that Viana is now taken over, and he's putting his stamp on things, and he will do what's best for the club, not ultimately what's best for Pep. He will turn around and go, I'm going out and I'm spending this money on this player, and I'm going to bring them in, and you're going to play them. Boom, boom, get on with it.
Should we have a charitable
Stones
bet?
is a
Should
great
we have a
player.
charitable bet? Should we do it live now?
Yeah.
20 quid charity we don't sell. The many you all think you get. I think we sell 1, 2, 3.
Wait, who are they? No, don't say this. Don't say
Whoa.
numbers.
How many
No
are you
one was
going
gonna-
for selling? Let's
You
just
said
go
no one
number.
was going to leave, Martin. So I don't know where you come up with 1,
No,
2,
I
3,
didn't. Of
4,
course,
5.
Grealish is going to go. Of course, Grealish is going to go. And of course, bloody McAtee is going to go. That's already done. I'm talking about defence, though.
The what?
I don't think anyone leaves from defence except Kyle Walker. Don't try and get me on the Kyle Walker and Wilson Espan, you bastard. You're not getting me on them two. Don't try and get me on that one.
I thought we needed to sell 2 not homegrown though.
Yeah, no, yeah. Gundo's one. And then they might get rid of Kovacic if he gets fit.
Okay, so now we at 4.
Right, and that's it. You don't bring anyone else in. Then it becomes a 1 in, 1 out scenario. I think Walker's different, Kay, because of what happened. So how many are you saying then? I'm going to do this charitable bet. Last 2 minutes. I'm going to get my series head on now. I've done my wind-up bit for 5 minutes. Got Aussie nice and hot. Right, come on. See, people don't like it when I do it back. Go on, right. I'm going to go with Grealish, McAtee, Wilson, Espan, Walker. Who else is there? So it's 4. Phillips 5. Perone 6. He'll go on loan. 6. I'm going to go 6. 6 go out. Perone goes on loan to Coma.
I think majority, you're right, but majority will go out on loan because of the wages that they're currently on. No one else can afford them.
No, in fact, I'm going to change it 7. 7. Because I think O'Reilly or Ortega may go. One solo.
Really?
If O'Reilly goes, it'll be a loan. Callum Doyle's, I don't include Callum Doyle because he's in the EDS squad.
I'm gonna say 8.
I'm not including EDS squad, so don't give me Simpson, Poozy, and bloody Callum Doyle. They're in the EDS. No, he's not gone yet, David. They've not agreed it yet. It's not been fully signed off. It's down as a loan, and they'll look at it. So I'm going 7. You're going 8. What are you saying, Ozza?
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be 7 or 8 players.
No, you can't have the same. Ed took 8. I took 7. You got to go higher or lower.
Oh, Jesus. It's hard because we know definitely where it's looking like at least 6 are definitely going to go out the door. Where it's a full sell or a loan.
You just said it was easy. Kick them out. Bye. Job centre P45. Get out. What we see it is they can give it, but they can't take it.
I don't think that's what I've said.
See, Rico, that's another one David's talking that I don't know where the hell that ends up. Don't know where Rico Lewis ends up.
It might be 9.
Because if you do buy right back, that is Rico gone.
You can't blame him, Matty. He needs to play football at his age. You can't blame him.
Is there still even a possibility that Nunes goes?
It's either if we buy one of them will go, Nunes or Rico.
And I would prefer to keep
who?
No, Peroni's on the first team squad though, Andrew. I'm cheating. I'm using the City website, mate. Lee Gates, thank you for the £5 again. Very generous. I think part 1 of the rebuild is done. I think part 2 place. You know, that could be a point. Maybe this is maybe we'll do a show on this one Thursday night. Have we all thought the rebuild could be done in one summer?
No.
Have we gone to
because it started in January, if we're being brutally honest.
Even if you get a right back, you still need to do more work over here next summer.
Yeah.
I think Gundogan will stay this year. I really do.
Oh, he's gone. Gundogan's staying. Big up, though. Someone when Bernardo Stones leaves, and Kovacic is still 50-50.
I think Kovacic should probably go in January. If he gets fit for January.
I don't know. No, I think October. Because I'm keeping an eye on that Turkish window.
What about Saudi? When does Saudi window close?
When does the Saudi? I know the Turkish windows start of October, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel the Saudi league, theirs is a bit longer, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's what I mean. I think Kovacic could still go, but
I think it depends because his actual injury, it's quite a serious injury, isn't it? As in, like, it takes quite a bit to recover from. So it's an Achilles, and to have surgery on your Achilles it's not 6 weeks in your back. That's why I think it would be more like January for him to be match fit.
October 6th.
I did include Gundo Max. I did.
It's October for Saudi too.
It's October, right? So Kovacic will have 2 options then, which isn't actually bad for him, you know.
I think it. He's definitely got an option to either go back somewhere in Europe. I could see him going to Italy and playing there because it's a slower pace league. I think he'd do really well.
I've said this and I got shot down. You're guessing, but there's no interest in our players at the minute. There is the wages, and City have to pay them off.
I think also, and this goes for most of the time when we're talking about incomings, but I also think it applies to outgoings, is sometimes we don't hear about these deals. They don't always come out until the deals are done. So don't expect a lot of news on the likes of Grealish and Walker. And especially
I think Grealish will, because he's got that many sponsors, and his dad. There's a lot of. I don't think they'll keep the Grealish one quiet. The Walker one, I think, will get quiet. The Grealish one won't.
Yeah, possibly, but I'm talking about all of the outgoings anyway. Regardless, I think you're not going to hear a great deal. Andrew's got an Espan, Walker, Jack, Gundo, McAtee, Peroni, Calvin, Stones. I'd agree with all them. The only one I'm really not sure about is Johnny Stones. But if he does, he does. And listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't sell Stones. I would sell Stones. I'm just saying I don't think we will. Yeah.
He doesn't help himself, Stones, I must admit. When he's been injured, and then he goes, first game he goes off to play for England.
We're not allowed, citizen. This is where they changed the loophole. Because everyone thinks this is an option. Because why not we use CFG? But why? If you were John Stones, why would you want to go to Girona? This is what I mean. You're talking about John Stones like he's some finished veteran that should be doing some five-a-side somewhere.
No, but there's no harm.
Juventus.
Bayern Munich and Girona are like A to Z there, Ed. Jesus.
I'm saying he can go to Juventus. He can go to a lot of clubs. He can go
does his family want to go to Juventus, though?
But the thing with someone like Stones is
there's some clubs in England that'll probably take him if the wages are right.
Everton won't pay $250.
If the wages
I also think something like with Stones is that he's a type of player where I think he can't start 3 games for City, but he could start one game a week for a club that's not playing in all the major competitions.
So that's my point, Ozzy. Why couldn't Stones just play one game a week for Sarah and then rotate around for the others?
Because he's got players ahead of him.
Is he going to England in November?
Better than him, though. For one, this some part said for one game a week, who's better than him?
But the problem is that I would have, and this is just being brutally honest, is if you're telling me that going forward, you've got Diaz and Guardiola as my back two pairing, and you'd want them to be the back two pairing going forward because that's your future. I would rather keep them two and sacrifice Stones. I don't want that constant rotation.
But you will, because you will get injuries. In a 70-game season, you get injuries.
I'm not saying you won't, but again,
so who's their backup?
But then you've got Akanji, you've got Ake.
No, the people want to sell Akanji as well.
Well, regardless of what other people have said, I'm telling you what I am saying.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. When everyone's going sell him, and sell him, we go from that to having that when it comes to one injury, and we're right back into crisis situation again.
Not necessarily, Martin.
Kushinoff and Vic Tays are going to be amazing, but they are not. We are still on the unknown section if they are ready to roll properly. We don't know.
I also
was that cheeky of us to steal a Newcastle Academy player? Was that a little cheeky of us?
Who?
We took a Newcastle Academy player today.
I did well. No, you're looking for anything to get this Livramento deal over the line.
No, I'm saying we did. No, we did. We signed a Newcastle Academy player, a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Diaz, Gabardiola, Ake, Hayes, Kushinoff is okay. So he's your right back, Cade. Who's your right back? 5. So Ake gets injured, Gabardiola gets injured, you're down to 3. See, my issue is not that, McCabe. My issue is how much trust are you putting in Victor Hayes and Kushinoff? How much full? If right now, Alan, we get an injury crisis and you say to Victor Hayes and Kushinoff, you've got to play 40 games, go. Are you right? Yes, I'm confident.
No, because they're too young.
That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm asking.
They've not got experience. We want to stay in a title race. Hang on. If we want to stay in a title race, we can't go into a season with those two as the main centre-halves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Max. There's game time of a couple of rotating in. 30, 40 games, he's not rotating anymore. That's relying on you.
I just think we need to find another right fullback. Libramento's not leaving Newcastle, not in a million years.
I remember you said that.
Just remember.
I remember.
Newcastle will not sell him.
Well, I just think if they need to bolster the squad to make top 4 again, they're gonna have to make some hard decisions. We'll see. We just have to wait and see.
I think I remember Alan saying the same thing about Walker because they had Daniel Levy. We wouldn't sell him. I think you said that, actually, Alan.
Well, let's get it right.
And
got ripped off.
Sorry, this is another thing I need to stamp this. Matt, where's this come from? Viana would want them to get game time. You telling me Viana's choosing the team, Max?
No. Listen,
this
is what I mean. Max has got Viana choosing the team here.
Pep Linders just picks the team, mate. I mean, I don't know why you're getting that.
Pep Guardiola chooses the team, Max. Doesn't care what. Viana will help choose, sell and buy. I agree. Viana will not choose the 11, mate. Come on. We can't be doing that, Max. That is making the manager look fucking stupid, that one. You can't have your chief exec. That's like the chairman going in to giving the half-time team talk. Come on, lads. Over there.
Right.
What's
I'm going
Calhoun doing here, boys? He's telling me where to go.
Martin, we're going round in circles here, so I'm going to go. I've some work to do. Right?
All right, what have you got all arsey about?
No, I'm not going to ask you about. We are going round in circles. It's not getting anywhere.
Just having a chat. What was that about?
Well, fucking hell, we're going round in fucking circles all the time.
Well, it's what happens when you come 60 minutes late, 70 minutes late, 80 minutes late.
I didn't know because he sent me the invite when it was the middle of the night.
Alan, what do you think about next game for the Club World Cup? Do you have any thoughts about it?
Say
next
again?
game for the Club World Cup.
It's shite.
I'm saying, do you want to see any players rotated? Do you want to see anything, man? This is
well, we've made enough money already, so play the under 13s.
This game is worth 10 million, by the way. This game is worth 10 million.
Max, it doesn't matter what the owner wants, mate. Pep chooses the team, honestly. Doesn't matter.
On that bombshell,
he's not chosen. People realize this. We bought players for the next 10 years, not for the next 10 minutes. Come on.
Good night, everyone.
Right, one last super chat, then we're out of here. Herbal gifted 5 memberships. Big up yourself, mate. Right. How the hell we got 3 hours out of that? Such an Alan answer.
Really is.
Fine, Alan, for being late. Unacceptable.
Well, if you are sleeping all night and then you get a text when you're fast asleep, there's not a lot you can do, or an email.
Where's the commitment, Alan?
I didn't say that as I said that. Maybe we'll have to see. But at the moment, we've offered 2 players and they said no, Governor. You very rarely get that because of PSR. You won't get swap deals. You'd have to do it as a separate deal because it's very hard to get valuations on a swap deal. So what City would do is do the Livramento deal, and then Newcastle would do the John Stones deal. But it'd have to be cheap, or they wouldn't do it. There's going to be very, very rare now will you get a player plus thing because of PSR. PSR doesn't allow that. Doesn't favour anything PSR wise. Sadly, that's why. Was the goalkeeper at Nottingham Forest went for like 30 mil to Newcastle? It was done as a separate deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is what they end up with. Stupid deals. Right. We'll do a space, might as well. 10 minutes. You might fucking come on for that one, Alan, you lazy little bastard. Anyway, I don't know. I am fired up this season. Let's go for it. I am fired. I am ready. I am fired up this season. 25-26. Let's go.
Ozzy, I don't know if you saw the other day when we wound Martin up big time on the fucking show. It was tremendous. We did it on purpose. Me and what's he called? Fucking just wound him up. His hands were going everywhere and he's losing it all. And so it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
I must have missed this. Was this on our channel or was it one of the other?
No.
Jade.
It was on our channel.
Okay.
Kate, I had a job last season, mate.
I was doing this.
Everyone's been a bit bloody cheeky tonight, aren't they? Been getting in a bit on the old cheeky train tonight, a few people. A little bit of cheekiness.
You have been quite cheeky, Martin.
Pardon?
You have been fairly cheeky tonight. So.
No, I'm fired up now. Fired up. Like, Martin's fired up. Full-time Martin this year. No,
right.
Martin now officially has no job, so I'm just going to stream. Right, Alan, piss off then. You want to go? What, do you need to piss something?
No, I'm going for a shit. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Right, bye then. Jesus. What about Costa? Nah, I'm until Edison goes out the door, mate. And no, you are not bringing in Costa to be a number 2 either, before anyone throws that one out
Who do you
there.
guys want for a number 2? Is there anybody you guys like for a number 2? Or
Can we stop talking about number 2s, Ed, please, after that?
for the goalkeeper? For the goalkeeper. If Ortega leaves. If Ortega leaves.
For a backup goalkeeper, yeah.
That could be a foreign one. You need to. Because I'll tell you what I'd have done. And I agreed with what Elliot said the other day was I'd have done Brit Spikes, Spike Brit, sorry, but I'd have done that instead of Bettinella. I'd have promoted Spike Brits up instead of buying Bettinella. Why can't we? Why has it always got to be a 33-year-old has to be a third choice? Why can't it be someone from the academy? Why don't we give that to Spike Brits and let him come through the academy? You know what I mean? Why has it got to be?
I think they do that just off a squad building standpoint. They probably want an older guy. You know,
they've got to be over 21. They've got to be over 21, Ed. That's the problem with the homegrown rule. They've got to be over 21.
How old is he?
Spike Brett, 18, 19.
Oh, and he'll probably sign a two-year deal, and Spike Brits will probably we'll keep.
No, he's 18. That's the problem. He's 18. That's why we can't do it, because you've got to be 21 to be classed in the homegrown part.
But plus, he would get more game time in the academy.
I said Patterson. I don't think, because Sunderland have just signed a new goalie as well. But I don't think he's going to. Why would he leave Sunderland's number 2 to be City's number 2? This is the problem. You're not offering a number 1 spot.
Well, I think City number 2 is better than Sunderland's number 2.
But he's not going to play. But why would he? He's not going to put. I'd rather put a young lad than a 33-year-old. Bettinelli's not played football in 3 years, Max. Is it 3? It might even be 4 years.
So did Scott Carlson. What are you complaining about? He was still a hero.
No, but you know, I looked at the other day. I said, Bettinelli's not touched grass in God knows how long.
Come on, Martin. You know he's a club guy. That's all. He's there for the club. You know, he's there for the club.
No, Max. I want to see some of the youngsters come through, develop our youngsters. Instead of buying homegrown, why can't we develop our homegrown?
Because the goalkeeper position's a lot different compared to other.
What do you think of that? Do you think we should develop our homegrown more than buying?
Oh, do you know what? On that note, everybody, I'm not saying here for another hour.
Save this for the space, man. Save this for the space.
What you don't know is Ozzy just messing with behind going out. He's been trying to go for 20 minutes, and I've kept this going and going and going and going. No, big up, Ozzy.
Sorry, you get my bill.
Do you know what? I have a bit of a laugh back and a bit of a thing, and everyone flips. You don't like me. You don't like. No one likes me having a bit of banter back, do you?
No. So keep quiet.
No, they all want to give it, but they can't take it. Like a typical bloke. Much love, mate. Take care. Love to the family.
Yeah. See you later, guys. Have a good one.
Big up. Right, we're going to get going. We'll get out of here. We are live again, 1:30 a.m. for this. Manchester City versus Al Hilal, 1:30 in the morning, live on the Mancunian way. Cannot wait. Yeah, he is. Bettinelli is here for vibes. By the way, DB Stucky, big up tonight, because you know what? I'm loving the positivity for the change. Big up the positivity on DB Stucky. Loving it. Ed, thank you for joining us, mate.
Glad to be here as always, Martin. Glad to be here as always.
Cool.
Hey, chat, let's hit a like on the way out. I don't know what number at. Well, let's hit it.
We're on 183.
You know, let's hit a like and
we're 17 away from 200. Tell you what we are, though. We are 11 away from 6,800.
Come on, hit the subscribe button, guys. Hit the subscribe button.
People away from 6,800. Give me a message, mate. We'll get you on this week. Martin doesn't have the voice tone change to show he's having a bantering session. I'm sorry, my voice is the way it is. I'm getting my thing on my voice now. DC, by the way, if you ever want to come on off camera, you don't even have to be off camera. More than welcome. Mad Ferret, Loki, House Captain, yeah, you're coming on. Yeah, so we'll get a panel back on tomorrow. For
watch-alongs are great fun, guys. Watch-alongs are great fun. Great fun.
We actually get a panel going. We get a panel going and we get it really rocking at 1:30 in the morning. And it may be a long one because apparently there's going to be a rain delay. And boy, do I know about those fucking rain delays. But yeah, there's loads on the channel this week. We're going to hopefully start a new show with Pat, True City Fan. That's the future. But then Friday Waffle Show will be back. Thursday we'll do post-match to Al Hilal. No, we won't. I'll see when we can do it. Andrew, you're always welcome. Always welcome, Andrew. You know that. DC, you want to come on? We'll get you on the post-match. Ed's going to be a more regular on the Mancunian way, though.
Yeah, man. I'll be around, guys.
We've got big plans for Ed. Right, Jack. Maybe a bit of Shake will come on the show soon. Bit of Veta Games back on. Have something lined up in case of the rain delay. We'll have a debate on John Stones. Right, take care. I'll see you on the space at Horsey Sitter if you want to come and join us in the next 10 minutes. Take care, all. And as always, up the Blues. See you at 1:30 in the morning. Bye.